Previously on an each retelling.
The looming specter lingers in the background. It gets 10 inches closer.
Say that making your Sleeping Beauty analog a lesbian means that you're like 40% of the way to writing fanfiction of Aurora and Mulan from Once Upon a Time. So like,
oh God, it's getting closer.
Which when they wandered out of the show is the time that I checked out watching it.
They're coming to get you, Jasmine.
We'll get to that in August. I'm gonna cry.
The curse! It's here!
I guess we will never really know why, but I remember once upon a time.
Welcome to An Each Retelling, the podcast where we explore all the ways old tales are made new. Happy 100th fucking episode, gang. Why are you still here? Your host, Jasmine Garcia, and joining me today are...
Hi, it's River. I am the other enjoyable thing Killian Jones enjoys doing with a woman on her back.
Jesus Christ!
Oh God.
I told you it was filthy!
It's Shamila, and this was not the Rumpelstiltskin and Miller's daughter parody that I wanted. Send it back!
Yes, somebody please adapt our Golden Sugar story instead.
Charlotte Driftwood, I had a Captain Hook and woman on her back joke, so now I got nothing.
I'm Sam Marchioni. I don't know about y'all, but tricking the woman who orchestrated the death of my father, murdered countless numbers of my subjects, spent a long time trying to kill both me and my husband, cast a curse that meant my child grew up an orphan while I was in a Groundhog Day purgatory, and then tried to kill my child into becoming the killer of her mother, who admitted to murdering my mother on my birthday and making me feel guilty about not killing someone to save my mom's life, while she was trying to take the power of ultimate evil so that she could kill everyone in my family. Kind of justified.
Yeah, but it might make you into more of a Jennifer Badwin. How long was I holding on to that joke? Years, maybe?
Oh, God. Well, you know what? This is why we have you here, Charlie. And I, for one, am so proud to give you the platform to use that joke.
Oh, I have another joke real quick.
Go for it.
Okay, inevitably, when you start talking about this show, people will make jokes like, oh, is that character secretly Lightning McQueen? Is that character the lightning bug from Princess of the Frog? And those are all very funny jokes, and the dumbest of them were actually compiled into a little comedy sketch. It's really great. You can find it online. It's on Disney Plus. Just look for Once Upon a Time.
God!
Greetings! I am IER60, Star Wars Retelling Connections. Point of intersection round. This is a degree 3, featuring Abraham Ben Ruby, Darth Vader / Owen Lars, and the Robot Chicken Trilogy, and Darth Vader in Detours, and Johnny Coin, Warlock and the Mandalorian, and the Mandalorian and Grogu. For additional degrees, check out ineachretelling.tumblr.com/sibling-blogs.
Dun, 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 dun.
I was prepared for that, gang. She showed me that.
Yeah, that was a joke I've been working on for a little. On our last episode, your last episode, there were a couple references to the Escape from Walt Disney episode on season 1, Skin Deep. I was sort of the star of that Escape from Walt Disney episode that was frequently referenced. I found out I was referenced on another podcast, and now, between you guys talking about season 1 and now, I have become one of your top 10 guests.
Yes, you have. Shout out to Micah Hirsch for alerting Charlie to us talking about this. and Charlie just immediately going, "Hey, can we be friends immediately?"
Listen, I honestly got the vibe that Tony didn't like me that much, but the second we did that episode, I noticed an immediate switch where he respected me as a comedian. So I understand that I am funniest when talking about Once Upon a Time. I'm not gonna turn down opportunities to be my funniest.
And speaking of shenaniganery and silliness, I am asking you all politely to raise your right fucking hand.
Let's go.
I promise. My camera's off
yep,
because I didn't have time
understandable.
to get dressed.
Charlie, you are essential to this vow, in fact. You are going
Like
to
an
be
essential
protected.
oil.
Yes.
Correct.
I solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that we are talking about Once Upon a Time Season 2,
that we are talking about Once Upon a Time Season 2,
and thus an absolute train wreck, car wreck of a television series.
and thus an absolute train wreck, car wreck of a television series.
And thus, none of it is serious, none of it is life-threatening, and everything said today is meant for silly goofs.
And thus, none of this is serious, none of this is life-threatening, everything said today is meant for silly goofs.
The long and short of it all being, besties, we have gotten quietly heated in the chat because this show brings out some eldritch abomination version of our fangirlness, the fangirl we were in the 2010s, and we collectively have grown past those tendencies.
Yes.
But also, some habits die hard, and I understand that.
This shit scarred us. Let's be real.
We are needing the reminder that this is all for silly goofs.
Repeat
and any
yourself. It's just a show. You should really just relax.
Yes, and And Charlie, the thing is, I know.
A 1982 film directed by John Carpenter.
But no, seriously, Charlie, this is part of why you are essential to this, because the rest of us were genuine fangirls in our youth.
I was just a casual listener. The only person I followed who was actively watching the show and fangirl, I think, was you, Jazz.
Okay, that's fair.
I famously discovered the show in 2022 as a grown-ass adult and started watching it to unwind after work with my girlfriend by getting high and making fun of something we never had any hopes of becoming good. Y'all were like, listen, I haven't liked any of it thus far, but one day I swear, and like, that's called an abusive relationship.
No, the abusive relationship is called Rumbell.
Yeah, you had all become Belle. This show is your Rumpelstiltskin, and you are all Belle.
Oh,
Not me, baby. Not me. I'm David Charman walking through life like I don't have any context to anything. I don't think I need that.
I only have context up until a certain point. I will on you.
I have all the context, motherfuckers. I went through all 7 seasons as they aired.
So you're the one who watched season 7. Okay, I was looking at the Nielsen ratings. It did say one household. Yeah, okay, congrats.
Sam is the eldritch abomination of context and future connotation.
I have to ask, River, Jazz, Shavi, did you guys watch to the end, or is there a certain point where you're like...
There was a certain point, like, I dropped off during a certain reveal, which I can't spoil exactly. I dropped off in between, like...
You could spoil it, Shammy, it's fine.
Lightning McQueen is Ray the Lightning Bug. That reveal.
Or did you drop when Pan got revealed as Rumple's father?
Before that.
Okay.
Did you drop when it was revealed that Henry had the heart of the truest... Never mind.
Nope.
We'll get into that in season
So you didn't even get to the point where Mickey Mouse showed up.
No. Nope. No.
You didn't get to Bo Peep Mob Boss.
You didn't get to the corporately mandated Frozen arc.
Yeah, I love that.
Nope. No,
I love that the first episode of the Frozen arc brought in so many new viewers, and like having House Gets Over and accidentally walking around your house naked, they introduce Mob Boss Bo Peep in episode fucking 2 and scare off all these new viewers.
I thought people were joking.
I thought you were kidding! I thought it was a joke! I even wrote it down in my diary!
No.
My Boss Bo Peep is the episode before Mickey Mouse gets introduced. They've really fucked up their new view. They're like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh, we had all these new people. Oh my god, they're leaving now. Okay, that's on us. That is on us.
But anyway, I dropped out the soonest out of everybody here. I dropped out basically as soon as the Lacey shit started, because I was just like, no.
Yeah.
I dropped out sometime post-author / pre-trip to hell.
I dropped off just before everyone went to Neverland.
But the thing is, I knew general bits about what was going on because I was still following the fandom, because I still enjoyed a lot of the fan works of it. So I do know about the Frozen arc, and actually, I think from what I have seen, it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, the Frozen arc is terrifyingly good and competent, and is dangerously close to watchable.
I have friends who actually prefer the sequel that Once Upon a Time provides for Frozen to Frozen 2.
Not unsurprising.
That is the only season I watched sober. And I loved it, so...
There you go. There you go.
The corporately mandated Frozen arc was basically A&E going like, yeah, we got corporately mandated to do this. We're gonna get real fucking funny with it.
ABC, not A&D.
No, A&E, Adam and Eddie Kiddis.
Oh, got it.
Yeah,
yeah. The way to enjoy this show, ironically, because that's where I came in and something you guys are still learning, is every stupid moment you have to imagine A&E going, that's brilliant. How did we think of that? And if you could just picture that after every infuriatingly badly written moment, this is a comedy.
Yeah. It's kind of like how most of the Twilight fandom engages with Twilight these days. It's just like, no, this should have been a comedy.
And the protagonist has the surname Swan.
I didn't say it was good. I said I enjoyed it when I was 12.
So I guess we kind of gotten into our connections to this ridiculous fucking juggernaut of a series. Any other comments before we go into us going insane trying to summarize season 2?
If you're somehow listening to this podcast without ever having seen the show, you might ask yourself the question a couple times, are they just making these plots up? Yeah.
No, we're just cursing you with approximate knowledge.
Yeah,
Great variation on Two Truths and a Lie is to do an entire Once Upon a Time themed version.
Well, yeah, the only way to figure out for sure if we're making this up is to watch the show yourself. And unless you got a great deal of marijuana on you, don't do that. Don't do that to yourself.
We are stuck here for life, unfortunately, because again, it bit us when we were young.
This is my dumpster fire.
Yes, I've said it before. This is the sort of thing that should be catnip for me. I am somebody who runs a podcast based entirely on retellings, and I'm unfortunately also fond of the concept of big crossover universes.
Yeah, but here's my thing there. Into the Woods exists.
Yes, but why not more?
And Disney found a way to disappoint us with that too.
That is also
We got episodes to break down, and we got 22 to do it.
Oh god.
Yeah. So
Everyone got what episodes they're breaking down?
Yep.
Yes.
Everyone strapped in?
Yep. Who's starting off?
Pull on the yellow tab. Let me get the stopwatch up.
Okay, now again, I do watch this show while high to unwind, so I've definitely watched this, whether I know what happens in it.
We're gonna do our best. We're gonna do our best.
Yeah.
A minute per episode. Let's go. All right, we start season 2 with Broken. In case you missed last season, the curse is broken. Families are reuniting. Rum saw fit to bring magic into Storybrooke. And meanwhile, we do also discover that the Enchanted Forest is not completely dead, and there's not only Sleeping Beauty stuff going on, but there's also Mulan stuff going on, and Prince Philip is basically being stalked by a wraith or a Yao Guai, which is from genuine Chinese mythology.
Episode 2, we are both. So we've broken the curse, and now we've got a different question. We couldn't leave town, can we? And the answer is no. You cross the town line and you forget who you were in the past and suddenly become only your cursed self. We have to figure out if we can actually, make it back to the Enchanted Forest, maybe put that kernel in your head, plant it, marinate on it. We'll come back to it.
Sneezy just has to be okay with this.
Sneezy just has to accept the fact that he's Clark.
Yeah. No. No one else is worried about it. Why is he?
Episode 3, Lady in the Lake. In the past, evil King George hires a disgraced Sir Lancelot to abduct Snow so that he can curse her with infertility, then orders a hit on Charming and his mom. Mama Charming gets shot with a poison arrow, and Lancelot feels bad about this, so he goes to help the Charmings find the magic lake from season 1, except it's all dried up except for a teeny tiny bit of water in the shell. But because Snow told her about the infertility thing via a magic pregnancy doodad, Mama Charming tricks them into having Snow drink the water by having Lancelot sneak it in during a little marriage ceremony, and that's how Snow finds out that her firstborn child is going to be a girl. In the present, Emma has failed her insight check on Cora. Surprise, Cora's here, but Snow's not having it and tells her to stay away from Cora, but not before some personal information gets dropped. They see Lancelot again, who sends Mulan with them to go get the magic wardrobe. Aurora follows because Aurora's on like a vengeance kick. Emma almost gets them killed. They find the wardrobe. Lancelot shows up. Actually, no, Lancelot is Cora. Cora murdered him. Justice for Cinque Walls. And they have to nuke the wardrobe and skedaddle. And in Storybrooke, Henry's upset that David won't let him do crimes. And so he tries to do crimes behind David and Regina's back. And it also almost gets him killed on the first try. And also he convinces Jefferson to go and talk to his daughter. And that's the last we're going to see of Sebastian Stan in the Storybrooke scenes.
Bye, Sebastian Stan.
Bye, Sebastian.
Yeah, have fun with a much better job. And also, Cora, for the listeners, is Regina, the Evil Queen's mother.
Yes.
We haven't gotten there yet, but yeah.
Episode 4, The Crocodile. Rum decides to settle an old score with Killian and learns that his ex-wife has run off with him. She tries to give Rum a magic bean that can transport between worlds in exchange for sparing their lives, but he rips her heart out and cuts off Killian's hand. Jokes on him, turns out Killian had the actual bean and prepares to enter Neverland, revealing him to be Captain Hook. Back in Storybrooke, David, Gold, and Ruby go in search for a missing Belle, who's been kidnapped by her father to be taken across the barrier so she can forget Gold. Belle is rescued but is angry with her father and Gold and tells the two that she never wants to speak with either of them again.
Let Belle have boundaries!
Let Belle have agency!
Let her drop a bookshelf on them!
Absolutely not. We're going to drag out this Beauty and the Beast shit.
Honestly, fuck this show for making me groan at a Beauty and the Beast story.
Episode 5, The Doctor. You know how Frankenstein is like a compelling story? What if it wasn't? Also, Sebastian Stan definitely is in this one, by the way, so that wasn't his last appearance.
That is
Making-
true.
I said it was his last scene in Storybrooke.
Oh,
Making
got it,
king
got it.
shit background facial expressions.
Got it. So, Regina has a dead boyfriend. Dr. Victor Frankenstein, aka Dr. Whale, has a dead brother. How do these stories converge? I don't care. There's an arm. Also, a pirate is here. My summaries are going to be a little different than yours.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Proceed.
That is okay. Episode 6, Tallahassee. Emma and Killian team up to basically steal some shit from a giant on a beanstalk, and here we find out why Emma has trust issues. Because she had a boyfriend named Neil who she believes left her to get arrested when it turns out, no, he only left her alone and pregnant and in jail because Pinocchio fucking told him to.
Also, it should be noted that in the opening of the season, we were introduced to a strange man walking around New York City who got a postcard that just said broken, and Neil suspiciously looks like that man.
That is true. Could be connected, maybe.
What an unbelievable coincidence.
Episode 7, Child of the Moon. It's the first full moon since Storybrooke's curse broke, and Ruby's like, hey, I can't find my cloak anywhere. I'm gonna go lock myself up and make sure that I don't, shapeshift into a werewolf and murder a bunch of people. King George then conspires to break Ruby out to have her look like she murdered somebody. In the Enchanted Forest, Ruby and Snow are on the run from the Evil Queen's forces, and Ruby trips upon a wolf cult. It goes nowhere. Everyone dies. The end.
I mean, I wouldn't say it goes nowhere. She does find her mother. And also, very important to note that one of the casualties of this episode is a fucking humanized version of Gus Gus from Cinderella.
That too.
And he was cute.
He was very cute.
Oh, he was very cute, but why Gus? That's like one of those decisions that makes this show impossible to take seriously.
Ruby recontrols form of the wolf by sheer charming family belief. God knows that family had to get something. And Ruby is thus able to transform into the werewolf in Storybrooke as well as in the Enchanted Forest. Ding.
Episode 8, Into the Deep. No flashbacks in this one. Hook and Cora reunite after Emma ditched Hook up in the Giant's Land, and Cora demonstrates that hearts can be used to make zombies, using said zombies to capture Aurora, who's been having these nightmares that take her to a burning red room of doom, which is what happens when you go under a sleeping curse, so Henry was also there. And they want to trade Aurora for this magic compass that's going to help them get back to Storybrooke, and Henry gets burned in the red room of doom, so David and Regina don't want to risk him further. So David's like, I'll get a sleeping curse and I'll go in there to meet whoever's in there. And if it's Snow, she can wake me up with true love's kiss. And so Snow's like, hey Mulan, can you get me like really high on opium so I can go into a deep enough sleep to go into the red room of doom? And Mulan's like, okay. And they do that, but they can't do True Love's Kiss because it's a netherworld, and Mulan runs off with the compass because she wants to free Aurora and she doesn't really give a shit. Sleeping Warrior fans, we see you. Hook frees Aurora, who runs back to the gang, but turns out it's a trip. Hook ripped out Aurora's heart, and he gave it to Cora, and Cora can use the heart to mind control Aurora, and the girl squad is now on their way to Rumple's cell to get another MacGuffin, and Cora's giving Hook shit for having a crush on Emma.
Hey, quick question, gang. Is the Neverworld proof of Schrodinger's cat?
I have no fucking clue.
All right, proceed.
Moving on, ding!
Episode 9, Queen of Hearts. Regina sends Hook to Wonderland to off Cora, who has now become the Queen of Hearts. Cora convinces him to side with her and fakes being dead, only for Regina to confess she still loves her. Switching gears, Cora erects a barrier to protect her and Hook from the curse and says once it's broken, she'll help Regina pick up the pieces. In present-day Enchanted Forest, fierce battle to get the compass back. Cora tries to rip out Mary Margaret's heart and mocks an intervening Emma, but turns out love is strength, and Emma knocks her back, and Emma and Mary Margaret jump through the portal. Meanwhile, Mulan restores Aurora's soul and agree to try to restore Philip's soul. Back in Storybrooke, Regina and Gold plan to destroy the portal to prevent Cora from coming through, even though it will kill Emma and Mary Margaret. Henry realizes that Regina lied to him and goes with Ruby to try to stop them, convincing Regina to have faith, and lo and behold, it works. But out on the horizon, Hook's plan has worked, and now his ship is heading straight for Storybrooke.
Episode 10, The Cricket Game. His ship arrives at Storybrooke. Cora is now in Storybrooke. Did Regina murder Jiminy Man? Nope. Also, Jennifer Badwin arc commence.
Not incorrect.
Episode 11, The Outsider. Belle is living her best Evelyn O'Connell life by using her bookish talents to fight the Alguai. This is where it actually comes. The one from the previous episode was a wraith. That was my bad. Yes, that is a genuine creature from mythology. She meets up with Mulan, and she is actually able to defeat the Alguai not through violence, but through compassion and smarts, because that is what Belle is all about. Turns out the Alguai was a cursed Prince Philip, and now this is how Philip and Mulan teamed up to go find Aurora. And meanwhile, in Storybrooke, Hook is kidnapping Belle, and Rum is being...
No, Belle walked into that one.
Still.
Because Belle is the adventurer of the heart. Her outfit is cute as hell. Mulan wanted to make out with her. And she's never this cool again.
Unfortunately, this is why we can't have
No, we do get Belle going on girl trips with other Disney princesses. It just never lasts.
It should last. Let Belle be gay.
Let Belle be gay. At episode 12, In the Name of the Brother. Yeah, so we're finally getting Whale's backstory, because at the end of the last episode, oh, by the way, a car crashed into Storybrooke, Belle gets thrusted over the town line by a gunshot wound from Killian, who then gets hit by said car crashing into Storybrooke. All of that happens...
Also, Empire Records open till midnight. This is Mark. This is where Ethan Embry comes in.
All of that happens at the end of the last episode, so we gotta crash into the hospital. Our town party argues, hey, what the fuck do we do with this guy who no one's ever seen, who's from the outside world? What the hell do we do with him? Do we just let him die? Do we let him live? Meanwhile, Whale's having an existential crisis about whether or not he can actually be a doctor, because, by the way, Whale is Frankenstein. And we reveal the first time he actually tried to craft his monster using the help of gold magic hearts. And anyway, this episode is weird, dumb, and bad, but it gave us Ruby and Frankenstein, an absolutely buck-wild ship that the fandom decided to run away with. Also, Killian is fucking hilarious while injured. Ding!
Episode 13, Tiny, aka Anton Deserves the World. Anton is the name of the giant played by Jorge Garcia who showed up in Tallahassee, and we see in flashbacks that he is the sweetest little bean who got tricked by David's evil twin James, who robbed his sky castle and killed all his brothers with a very, very sexy Jack.
She's a woman. It should be noted.
Yeah.
Jack is short for Jacqueline.
Yeah. She has.
Oh, I get it.
She
Bean.
has.
Haha.
She has an outfit that breasts boobily.
That can describe every woman in the fairy tale world.
That is fair.
And in the present, Cora has brought this giant to Storybrooke, shrunk down, and Hook shows this to Snow and Charming. Anton goes berserk because he sees Charming and thinks it's James, and Hook passes this information along to Regina and Cora, and they give Anton Wonderland growth hormone and send him on a rampage after the Charmings, and they try to be like, no, wait, we're Emma's family, we're your friends, and he's like, okay, can I talk to Emma? And they're like, she's kind of out of town because Rumpelstiltskin made her take him on a road trip to go find his son, because she owed him a favor from helping Cinderella with her baby. And so Anton gets really mad and he stomps the ground, but then the Wonderland growth hormone wears off, and so he falls down a big hole, and David has to get him out of the big hole and earn his trust. And it turns out that Anton has magic beans, so we can grow the magic beans and then maybe go back to the Enchanted Forest. But Snow's not entirely sure that Emma's going to be on board with this, and also everyone is doing a very bad job of gaslighting both Amnesia Belle and the normal dude whose name is Greg about magic not existing.
It's pretty fucking bad.
Ding.
Episode 14, Manhattan. Rom learns from a blind seer that Mila is pregnant with a son, but his actions will leave the child fatherless. Terrified of dying in battle, he crushes his own leg, leading to Mila to denounce him, saying that a coward's son is a worse fate. Years after Balefire leaves, Rom learns that he'll be led to his son by a boy who will also be his undoing. He vows to kill the boy, but in Manhattan, we finally reach the truth that we've known all along, that Neil is in fact Balefire, making Rumpelstiltskin Henry's grandfather. Back in Storybrooke, Regina, Cora, and Hook are on the hunt for the Dark One's dagger, and Cora reveals her plan to use the dagger to command Gold to kill Mary Margaret, David, and Emma. Meanwhile, Greg tells an unknown woman over the phone that he's being released by the hospital but will remain in Storybrooke, and explains by sending her a video of Regina using magic. Ding.
Episode 15, The Queen is Dead. Joanna's here. She's great. She raised Snow White. She's a nice old lady. We like Joanna.
Joanna is now dead.
Also, every bad thing that happened in action, but don't blame her too hard. She's just Joanna.
Joanna is nice. Joanna
It was
is now
not
dead.
Joanna's fault.
It was Joanna's fault,
So
but
we'll get into no, but
I wouldn't say it's her fault, but it might kind of be her responsibility, but unfortunately she never got the chance to take that responsibility.
Someone needs to do an edit of Joanna getting hucked out the window with Miss Rabbit has fainted.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway.
Anyway, episode 16, The Miller's Daughter. Finally, we kind of get a proper Rumpelstiltskin story, and it's also Cora's backstory. Turns out she and Rumpelstiltskin might have been the perfect villain couple if it weren't for the fact that she got overly ambitious in her desire to prove herself to the people that she was trying to destroy in the first place. The Mills women never make a lot of sense in their motivations, unfortunately, but yeah, Cora ripped out her own heart and made herself not love Rumpelstiltskin anymore, so she can marry Henry, who was a dish, by the way, and that their daughter can one day be queen. Meanwhile, in Storybrooke, of course, this is right when Cora is about to die. Oh, but not before she got her heart back because of the machinations that Rumpelstiltskin made Snow do, and of course, she dies saying this would have been enough to her weeping daughter.
Also, it should be noted that up until that point, Rumpel was dying on the couch because Hook stabbed him with a poisoned hook back in New York because Gillian tracked them down. He was locked in a storage locker and left in New York, but they had to take Jolly Roger back to Storybrooke because it's the fastest ship in all the realms, because Neil knows how to pirate a pirate ship, because if you were keeping his track of his age chronologically, he should be hundreds of years old, but that's neither here nor there.
so it is Twilight. It's a relationship between Swan and the 100-year-old. And she is too young for him.
Episode 17, Welcome to Storybrooke. So, what was in Storybrooke's place at that before the curse dropped this entire fucking town into the middle of Maine? Turns out it was a campsite. Two unlucky people, Kurt and his son Owen, got wrapped up into the nonsense, spending a couple of days in Storybrooke's animate time loop, while Regina has an existential crisis about the fact that everyone obeying her is not going to bring her true fulfillment. She decides to try and hold the boy hostage because it's at this point the seed has been planted in Regina's mind that maybe she wants to be a mother, and she tries to hold son and father hostage. It goes poorly, and the son swears vengeance after escaping the town border, even though he is not able to bring the cops back to the town because the town is still shrouded, because this is all pre-curse bullshit, and you know it's curse-breaking bullshit because Graham is here! Hi, Graham. Hi, Graham. We've missed you.
We missed you, Graham.
We've missed you.
I don't know. All cops are bastards.
All cops are.
But it's not his fault. It's not his fault.
All cops are bastards, but Graham are beloved. Anyway, ding.
Episode 18, Selfless, Brave, and True, aka I think this is how Manny Jacinto and Diane Dewan met, and that's kind of adorable.
Aww.
After killing Cora, Mary Margaret is going through this crisis, believing that she's becoming evil, because in the last episode she went to Regina and was like, hey, please kill me, because I can't live with this guilt, and Regina pulls out her heart and is like, oh, your heart's turning black, you can't go back.
What in the purity culture fucking bullshit?
And so she goes into the woods to shoot arrows while playing Bad Reputation, and she finds August in a trailer where he's been basically all season, but he doesn't want to face his dad, so he books it, and Snow finally finds out about the whole thing where Geppetto made the Blue Fairy lie about how many people could go through the wardrobe, and gives him, honestly, a very well-deserved slap, but it's treated like a bad thing. Neil also has a fiancé named Tamara, who's played by Sonica Martin Green, and she deserves better, and she comes to Storybrooke, and Emma's like, sus, but nobody else is, and so they're like, Emma, you're just jealous. And this whole chase thing ensues to find August, and it ends with him almost dying, but then there's magical contrivance, so he turns back into a little boy Pinocchio, because in the past, August woke up and, like, he was in Thailand doing some Orientalist tourist nonsense, and he started turning into wood, and so after people in a hospital in Hong Kong thought he was crazy because he stabbed himself in the leg, he went to a magic dude called the Dragon to get a temporary fix where he ran into Tamara, and when he couldn't pay for the magic, he stole money from her to buy it, but she caught him and she took the magic thingy and left him to suffer, and then it's revealed she went back and she killed the dragon because she's on Team Destroy Magic, and she has been lying to Neil the entire time. She just got close to him to get close to August, and also Greg has revealed himself to Regina as Owen and is like, where's my dad? Where's my dad? And Regina's like, he's not here. And then it turns out that Greg and Tamara are in cahoots of some sort and also smushing the boots.
Truly the most soap opera-ass ending of this whole season.
Question, is the dragon supposed to be Mushu? We are playing with Mulan this season.
God,
It's debated.
Debated.
God, I hope not.
Proceed!
And is he doing the same Oriental bullshit to the same healers as Doctor Strange was going to?
Kind of.
Not quite. I mean, at least he's actually an Asian guy.
God, the bar truly is in hell.
Okay, episode 19, Lacey.
Agony!
Yep. In the enchanted forest, Robin forces Belle to accompany him on a search to catch a thief who stole his magic wand, who turns out to be Robin, who wanted to kill a pregnant Marion. Belle manages to convince Robin to let the couple go, and he later gives her access to his library. Back in Storybrooke, Gold is grappling with the knowledge that Henry will be his undoing, while trying to help Belle remember who she was before the accident. He recruits David, who tells Gold to be himself, which takes a dark turn. David and Mary Margaret reveal that magic beans have been grown, and Emma is conflicted over which world she and Henry will live in as she continues to decipher August's warning. Meanwhile, Greg is still searching for his father, while Tamara explains that she's bringing a quote-unquote package into town, aka a tied-up Captain Hook.
Episode 20, The Evil Queen. Disney Plus insists I have in fact watched this one, and I have no reason to doubt it. But, according to Wikipedia, with the help of Hook, Regina attempts to put a plan in motion that will help transport herself and Henry back to the Enchanted Forest, while Emma's suspicions about Tamara grows. Meanwhile, in the Enchanted Forest that was, the Evil Queen asked Rumpelstiltskin to transform her into an unrecognizable peasant in order to kill an unsuspecting Snow White. Again, I've been led to believe I have seen this episode.
See, I almost cried at the end of that one, to be honest. Anyway.
Okay.
Anyway, second star to the right. So this is where we find out where the hell Balefire/Neil went when his dad let him go in season 1. Turns out he went to Victorian London and got adopted by the Darlings, and it's very cute, and unfortunately, evil Shadow Peter Pan is trying to kidnap and tear apart the Darling family, so Balefire sacrificed himself and wound up in Neverland and actually gets rescued by Killian. More on that next episode. Meanwhile, Regina has been kidnapped by Greg and Tamara, and everyone is trying to find her because, you know what? Yeah, she's the worst kind of this season, but she is still family, and we should at least try to stop her from getting fucking electroshocked to death.
Oh, also, we kind of left out, there's a failsafe that can turn Storybrooke into nothingness.
Into nothing but forest again, yeah.
You know, real high-stakes season finale upcoming kind of shit. It's not good. It's not good.
And finally, episode 22 went straight on till morning. Greg and Tamara have activated the failsafe, and Killian said, I'm not prepared to die for this because I am nothing if not an opportunist and a pirate. So he joins Team Good Guy to try and help them stop from the town being blown up. Regina uses all of her magic to try and contain the failsafe long enough that everyone can gather together, huck the beans somewhere, and turn into a portal into the Enchanted Forest while defeating Greg and Tamara. Except, no, Emma has to help Regina hold the thing hostage. It stops. Belle finally regains her memory. Oh, fucking Christ, this episode is so much. Neil goes into a portal of unknown origin with a gunshot wound, so any land he ends up in, he's almost destined to die. Hook briefly takes the bean from Team Good Guy to run off with himself until finally deciding at the very last minute that, no, he kind of has a heart after hearing that Balefire was Henry's father and also possibly dead, because turns out, the show didn't forget about the fact that Killian and Mila were together and possibly very actually in love and had planned to come back for Balefire. And so after the discovery of in the Neverland timeline, Balefire was indeed the boy dropped into the ocean that Killian rescued, they sort of have cute bonding. It's great and functional and happy and good, and then it gets blown up because Killian is nothing but a pirate and Balefire is nothing but distrustworthy, and we get an introduction to the Lost Boys. Hi, Felix, you rat bastard. And it turns out that Pan's been taking all of these children for one specific reason. He's been looking for somebody. We don't know who, but we'll get into that. Anyway, Greg and Tamara aren't defeated and manage to grab Henry and one bean and huck themselves down a portal. When Hook comes back with the bean, Team Good Guy and Rumble and Regina, having stopped the failsafe from taking the town, decide they have to go after Greg and Tamara to go find Henry, and, oh god, away we go! We're off to Neverland, baby! Season 3! And who, dear listeners, was Pan looking for? Well, he's got a drawing. And that drawing sure as fuck looks like Henry.
Everybody got that?
Good, we will not be doing it again!
If you guys are Belle, I'm Neil. I'm like, yeah, this is a whole bunch of bullshit. It doesn't have anything to do with me, and I'm not that concerned with it.
Neil should have been allowed to essentially go to every town meeting after this, sit in the background and do shots.
Yes.
As he just heard the nonsense and is like, yeah, fucking...
No, 100% he is how I watch this show. The only line in this show that I actually like is when Rumpelstiltskin is begging him, like, you know, I can make things right. I can raise you again. And Neil goes, 14? I don't want to be 14, are you insane? I laughed so hard.
And he does a very good, impression of Rumpel's gesticulations when he's the dark one.
The best line in this show continues to be, it's a good thing we don't have Thanksgiving in our land because that dinner would suck!
I also just really I didn't want to interrupt the episode summaries, but as an actual fucking New Yorker, the ironic funniest moment is when they can't keep using these close-ups of Vancouver where they can just say, no, it's definitely New York. See all the signs we hang that say Soho. See all the New York newspapers we've stocked in these machines. When there's a wide shot where she's chasing Neil across the street, they actually find a building in Vancouver that is very directly modeled off of the Flatiron Building. For those who aren't familiar with New York landmarks, it's the Daily Bugle from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. Except in real life, it's a very, very, very tall building. The Vancouver version / the Once Upon a Time version is 8 stories tall. And I was rewatching that episode on a plane, and I had to pause and rewind so many times at whatever happened to Tiny also happened to the Flatiron Building. We're not concerned about it. Moving on.
Toronto also has one, which is why Toronto is also a very good New York City stand-in. It's out in the financial district by St. Lawrence Market.
This was not the Toronto one, right?
No. It's the Vancouver one. They filmed everything. They filmed everything in BC.
Yeah.
God, this fucking show. I cannot believe. I remember watching it as it aired and being so annoyed because the episodes were not like weekly every single week. Like there'd be a night when they weren't airing and then a night when they were. And I'm like, wait, no, what happens next? Because unfortunately, I was invested.
Unfortunately, we all were, except Charlie, because apparently Charlie is the wisest of us all.
The thing about season 2 is that it has an unenviable task. Season 1 was a very structured way of doing a television season, and season 1's finale upended all of it. So season 2 now must answer the question, okay, where do we go from here?
I maintain they genuinely didn't expect to have a second season. I really do believe that.
Well,
No,
okay,
but-
so here's... We had that conversation, and I agreed, but then I was thinking about it. How long has her name been Mills?
The entire time.
Yeah, the entire time.
So...
Since the curse was cast.
Yeah, so in the original Rumpelstiltskin story, the character is not called Cora, because Cora is Latin for heart, and Regina is Latin for queen, but that's not related to what I was saying. So the character is always just called the Miller's daughter when telling the Rumpelstiltskin story.
Yeah.
So when I was rewatching the episode The Miller's Daughter, I was thinking about our conversation of whether they thought season 2 would happen, and I was like, no, but wait, because this is finally
Mills.
justifying the name Mills.
I think...
Well, it was
What
also
they-
like a My Big Fat Greek Wedding thing because Miller, it comes from the Greek word Milo, which is apple.
I think season 2 got confirmed mid-season 1 because, like I mentioned in the season 1 episode, the back half of season 2 does a lot of planting for stuff they pick up in season 2. So I think by like the mid-season mark, they'd gotten the confirmation, okay, they're getting another season. And so they were able to plant the stuff they wanted to use into season 2. And I think in season 2, they got a very early confirmation that they were getting season 3 because there is a lot of Neverland planting in this entire season.
Mm-hmm.
So, story by story?
Yes, so dear listeners, this is a little different from season 1 where it's pretty easy to figure out, the least important to the most important. So this time around, we're basically gonna, except for the charming family bullshit, as I'm calling it now,
Da-da-da-da.
collision of Snow White and Rumpelstiltskin and Beauty and the Beast bullshit. We're gonna save that for the end because obviously this is kind of where it really does become the charming family show if it wasn't already. So basically we are just gonna go chronologically in terms of all the other stories and then we tackle the charming family bullshit. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan.
So,
Previously on All My Charmings.
Welcome to One Man's Family!
So we're going to start with both Mulan and Sleeping Beauty because they get introduced at the same time. Because we find out that apparently the Sleeping Beauty curse is a legacy curse, so that sucks for this family.
So I think that might have been like a reference to stuff like, Sun and Moon and Talia, where Sleeping Beauty does have kids. Usually that's because the person who woke her up sexually assaulted her.
I hope that's not a reference to that because boy, oh boy, that's terrifying.
Well,
But-
the thing is, I bring that up because typically, at least in the Giambattista and Basile version, the children of the Sleeping Beauty are named something along the lines of Dawn and Day or Sun and Moon. So you have Aurora, and then theoretically Aurora would have a brother or something.
Maybe. But I have my doubts because I don't trust A&E to be that smart, and also they never really do anything with that reference, even if it was.
Aurora gets almost no development. She just has her weird castle that really looks Islamic, even though she is played by Sarah Bolger, who is very, very pale Irish. I like her dress.
Yeah, Sarah Bolger is lovely and doing her best with very little material.
Yeah. I mean, that could summarize every actor in this show.
I think so. The thing about Sleeping Beauty is Aurora is our prototypical princess. If Snow is our edgy princess, as our like twist on the formula, then Aurora was built to be our traditional princess and got wrapped up in a
classic.
She's our Princess Classic flavor, and she got wrapped up in a Once Upon a Time plotline that she was underprepared for. When she offers to go up the beanstalk, I'm like, Aurora, babe, it was never gonna be you. You're not even wearing pants.
She wants to have some goddamn agency in this story, and I do applaud her for it.
Which is why she and Henry and Belle get lumped into what I call the heroes of the heart, where they are not the most, like, you know, powerful or the most, like, on their face value capable heroes, but they are so determined to do what is right and good that they're gonna huck themselves into the line of fire no matter what. Henry has the benefit of having two moms, one of which is a helicopter over control freak who is also frequently putting him in danger by accident, holding him on a backpack leash by the nape of his neck.
And the other's Emma.
Belle, this ends my sentence. And Aurora, again, gets kind of shafted by the fact that she is Princess Classic. She wants so desperately to help, to do good. That is why she's willing to put herself to sleep under the sleeping curse if it means helping Emma and Mary Margaret get the hell out of here. Because she's like, no, this is something I can do, and I am one of the few people qualified to do so. And so they all occupy this same space of, like, if the whole show has the little groups get broken out into, you know, your traditional 5-man band, then Belle, Aurora, and Henry always end up the heart. Everyone else can kind of get shifted depending on what the situation is. No one ends up the smart guy because there is no smart guy in this entire goddamn cast.
No.
That would require them having brain cells.
No, Neil.
No, Neil is the 6th Ranger. Excuse you.
He is the 6th Ranger, but he's also the one who just doesn't care about the bullshit, and that's the smartest you can be in this world.
Sure, but by default, Henry, Aurora, Belle always end up the heart. They are always going to be the heart of the team, and I think that the show wants to say interesting things about their nature of heroics. Shame it never gets developed into anything good. And especially when Henry's heart is an entire MacGuffin next season. More on that later.
Wants to say interesting things could summarize every single teleplay by A&E, but
I don't think A&E actually wrote anything. They're just the creators and showrunners.
no, they definitely
They have credited episodes.
There's some credited episodes in this season, and not even like.
We can in fact be directly mad at them.
Yeah,
Sure,
and I'm not
They
mad
wrote
at
the
them.
Doctor.
I'm not mad at them. I'm making fun of them.
They want to fuck Regina so bad it's not even funny. Anyway.
Who among us does not?
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you.
Well,
No, not that flavor of Dommy Mommy Sapphic. I hate to break it to y'all. She
Okay,
doesn't
that's
do it
fair.
for
That's
me.
fair. Anyway, I
Not
want
really
to
my
tell
thing
you.
either, but if she had replaced Gina Carano as Cara Dune, I would not have complained.
I want to point out, you still live in the United States. I moved out because it's too expensive. I was on vacation visiting my friends and family when I got the deadline to finish watching the show, which meant subjecting a lot of my friends and family to this show. So I was at the apartment of my friend Adam New, who voices some background characters at Genshin Impact, in an apartment building shared with only 2 other tenants, his mother and the creator of Daria. And I kept joking, turn up the volume, let's torture the tenant downstairs by subjecting him to a much worse show than the one he made. But also, we got to an episode with Aurora and Mulan, and I said, now in spite of what the show shows you and your ability to do literary analysis, they are not intentionally written as a couple. Do you understand that, Adam? And he's like, yeah, of course. And I'm like, no. Do you understand that? And he's like, yeah, they're not dating. I get it. 2 women cannot be dating. But then the episode started.
Oh, baby!
Oh, you got a good crap.
You can kiss 100 boys in bars.
Yeah, no, honestly, oh my god. This is really the season that launched 1,000 fem/ships, and I will die on that hill.
Well, also, fellas, is it gay to have a son together? In regards to...
They are step-cessed, and I hate it.
Oh, I mean, like, if you want to do the math, every single couple is step-cessed eventually.
Yeah, let's not forget Emma ended up marrying her baby daddy's mother's ex-boyfriend.
And again...
No children were sired!
And
No
again,
children were sired. Emma has a baby with Hook.
No, I mean no children were sired between Mila and Hook.
Yes.
Okay, but like by
That
definitions
keeps-
of consanguinity within the Catholic Church, it would be considered incest.
Oh, you're forgetting that not only
Can't bring the Catholic Church.
you were talking about Mila. I was thinking about Cora hooking up with her father-in-law.
Oh, yeah.
I yearn for the simplicity of the Targaryen family tree.
Right. Listen. We're not watching Game of Thrones. We're watching Game of Thorns.
That's last season.
I know.
No, the sign still pops up at some point because Maurice is still a character and we hate him.
Look how they massacred my boy!
Mo French, mo problems, I always say.
Disney animated version of The Beast and Maurice should sue Adam and Eddie for what slander they have wrought upon.
So should animated Smee, honestly. I don't know how Smee is slander against his character, but he feels like slander.
If you're making Captain Hook straight, that is slander against me.
Does that mean they made Hook Gaston in this situation?
No, they have a Gaston!
They have a Gaston.
Gaston is the rose. Pay attention.
Oh, he came back.
Yeah.
That's part of why we go to the underworld.
Okay.
On the road to hell, there was a railroad line.
You leave Hadestown out of this. It deserves better than that. I don't care that it's following up this episode.
I have to joke, otherwise I'll die.
But anyway, yes, no. Mulan and Aurora. Listen, I unfortunately watched a decent amount of Buffy in my youth, specifically anything to do with Willow and Tara, which were explicitly, at least partially, magic as a metaphor for lesbian sex. So, between Mulan giving Aurora her heart back, quite literally, the ending where Emma and Regina collectively save the town through magic, what was I supposed to do, guys? What was I supposed to do?
We should mention that part of the reason why Mulan and Aurora have been thrust together is because Philip gives up his soul to the Wraith to protect the two of them, and Mulan gets the order of, like, protect her. And, like, they were both in love with him, and...
Babe, it's so devoted the lines blur.
Yeah, I don't know if I buy that Mulan was.
I don't buy the Mulan.
Yeah, where is my bisexual legend Li Shang?
It's better that Lee isn't that Shang isn't here. Let's be so for real.
They're absolutely a fucking polycule. But also, I must ask, do you guys ever worry about what retaining this much Once Upon a Time information is doing to your lifespan?
Yes.
All the time.
Okay,
Charlie,
good.
I started this podcast. I am deeply concerned for my lifespan and mental health. Because this show is not a reason why.
I'm sorry, what was I supposed to be doing in high school? Learning physics?
Well, what else was I supposed to be doing in middle school?
What else was I supposed to be doing in college? Anyway.
What else was I supposed to be doing in teachers college?
God.
What else was I supposed to be doing high out of my... Listen, I don't know which came first, Once Upon a Time or marijuana. They have such a symbiotic relationship that it's hard to picture one without the other.
God.
Anyway, rip to Mulan, you would have loved Chaperone.
Right? Oh my...
Rip to Mulan, you were given like 5 different girlfriend options and not allowed to have any of them.
It's so fucking weird that Mulan's role in this show continues to be showing up and bonding intensely with a woman, and it's like... And they're like, and what? And what? Why are you saying and?
What's
wrong?
So, a girlfriend.
Just
she
to run it
deserves
through.
it.
Mulan teamed up with Aurora, Belle, Merida, Red Riding Hood, kinda Dorothy. Am I missing anybody?
And Dorothy and Red Riding Hood end up together.
Right, because Dorothy and Red Riding Hood were not Disney princesses. Mulan is a Disney princess because she committed a great act of heroism.
Yeah,
or
and
murder, depending on who you ask.
And Merida's whole thing is being a tomboy. So it's like, of her proteges, there were 2 canonical sapphics and a tomboy, and it's just like, and this was an accident? You guys wrote the cross-dressing princess mentoring a bunch of explicitly either gender non-conforming or sapphic, like, these, I don't...
Coward.
Make it make sense.
It's pure cowardice. That's all it is. It was pure cowardice.
Can I play the bridge to Good Luck Babe as like a Clockwork Orange to Aurora and make her get it?
strap her eyes open. That's a reverse sleeping curse right there.
And also, Also, we should also acknowledge that as much as we love Jamie Chung in this house, she really had no business playing Mulan.
She is not Chinese.
What is her?
She's Korean. She's
Korean.
South Korean.
Okay, there were a lot of Korean actors in the original Mulan.
I know.
But she is great with the material given, and she does get one of my obligatory shout out to this actor playing this character. Her and Sarah both do the absolute most with the material given.
Yes, and also, not for nothing, Jamie Chung was relatively supportive of the Sleeping Warrior fandom.
Gold star stickers.
Cool. If we're talking about like the quality of the actors here, I'm gonna have to put, and it's not their fault because their characters are incredibly one note, but Jennifer and Jennifer are fucking terrible in this show.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
No, Jennifer Morrison has to carry so much of this fucking show on her goddamn back. Not as much as she does in season 1, but Morrison has to carry so much that if you do not buy her for a second, this whole thing falls apart.
Well, that would explain my experience with the show where it fell apart from episode 1. My opinion is that she plays like a very archetypal badass protagonist.
She's a female character written in 2010 in the midst of badass feminist characters.
By 2 men.
And she did not have female writers.
But to me, she is the moment I learned to hate that trope, because I had just accepted this character being played by male actors in media because it's just in so much media, and I cannot watch media with male Emmas anymore because I don't like Emma, and now I'm like, oh, this is the same boring one-note character.
The problem is Emma's also kind of always been the audience insert, reacting to all this bullshit, so it's a tough tightrope that Jennifer Morrison is walking, and when she's allowed to have moments of vulnerability, it's great, but she's also kind of a very stoic and grounded actor, so when you have to give her something like going, no, love is strength, and a pulse of magic comes out of her chest, it's kind of weird.
No, they cast her because they needed a stoic character, and then write all these big No, I'm not blaming any of the actors. I'm not. I think I'm a fan of How I Met Your Mother. I'm a fan of House. I'm a fan of Zootopia. Those are fantastic actors. These scripts are awful, historically awful. Should be in a museum for their lack of quality.
No, that's so valid. That's so valid, Charlie.
And so when Robert Carlyle makes his lines sound like a thing a person would say, I'm like, this show did not deserve him.
No,
Robert Carlyle is consistently doing the most, and again, he is the only choice for Rumpelstiltskin, and it makes entirely sense that he was the only one A&E approached to play Rumpel. He gets one actually very good line this season, where I love to see a happy family reunited. You have your mother's chin. Emma asks blunt question about something, and your father's tact.
Yes. I think Robert Carlyle gaslights me into thinking he has many good lines. I think that's the type of actor he is.
Also, we should probably briefly touch upon the portrayal of Lancelot, Justice for Cinquil Walls, indeed.
They did bring him back for season 5 to let him do more stuff, and rumors of my death were greatly exaggerated, and then they still did nothing with him.
Season 5 was a mess.
My girlfriend Ray, who I get high and watch these with, this was her first exposure to Lancelot, and she's recently been getting really deeply into Arthurian legend. And every time she sees a white actor playing Lancelot, she starts laughing and goes, "That's not Lancelot!" She straight up at this point is convinced the character does not make sense as a white person.
I actually really love that.
Yeah.
I actually deeply, deeply adore that, because it feels like such sweet revenge against everybody who objects to race bending these classic characters. And also, obviously, race aside, Wells does a really good job with what little he is given.
She cannot accept another actor playing Lancelot, and it's funny to see someone else claim to be Lancelot to her.
That's so good. That's so good. I love that. It's him and Santiago Cabrera in the Merlin series, but we are not getting into the Merlin series right now.
That's for a different episode.
Yes.
Oh.
It's just very cute how, in spite of the fact that he was meant to go after Snow, once again, Snow is just so damn sweet and charming that she convinces somebody who was out to kill her to befriend her instead. And it's very sweet that he's the one who officiated the wedding, initial Snow and Charming wedding.
How does an ex-Knight of the Round Table have the thing to do that? Please don't introduce Christianity to
Oh,
No,
honey.
no.
Oh, honey.
We can't bring Christianity to the Enchanted Forest. I'll lose
Oh,
it.
baby
No,
girl. Gender
It's-
neutral baby girl.
It's the United Life Church. He registered online.
But yes, I did want to briefly touch upon that. Sink the walls, please. You so deserve a better career, sir.
Versus, the reason Robert Carlyle did this show is because he had to move his son to
Yes.
Vancouver for another role and didn't want his son to keep moving around, changing schools, having to get new friends. So he just agreed to the first Vancouver role he was offered to keep his son at that school.
Yeah, which A+.
If he'd known it was going to turn him into a disco lizard, he might have reconsidered. I stole that joke from the Tumblr OUAT Conversations. It's very funny. Check it out.
Here is where I am on that. So Rumpelstiltskin, a character from Germanic folklore who, like, loves gold and steals babies. We're already getting into some pretty, like, be careful retelling that story. Don't, for example, add scaly reptile skin, or cast an actor with a particularly long nose, or name him fucking Mr. Gold, or give him a pawn shop. And all that being said, as a Jew, is Rumpelstiltskin a anti-Semitic caricature in Once Upon a Time? 100%.
Yes.
He is my emotional support anti-Semitic caricature.
Okay, so your emotional support is going to topple over at any moment. Got it.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not doing well at all.
But for real, like that, I understand that. I feel like if you're part of any kind of marginalized identity, representation is such slim pickings that sometimes you do end up getting attached to a more problematic portrayal of said identity. And I think that's okay as long as you're aware of it.
Is it better or worse than my emotional support semi-murderous pirate?
Well, hey, gotta represent. For the listeners, I'm wearing a shirt that I purchased at the Pirates of the Caribbean gift shop.
And I mean, part of your whole online brand is being a pirate lady, so.
No, I unfortunately will have to cosplay Killian. I'm not happy about it, but I don't have a say in the matter.
That'd be awesome, though. But speaking of Killian, let's talk the Neverland and Peter Pan stuff, because we were kind of haunted by the Peter Pan of it all.
This season is All Roads Lead to Neverland.
I did enjoy the feature of the Darling children. I really liked the actress they got for Wendy, and I liked that Mrs. Darling was like, no, absolutely not sending this child back onto the street. We're adopting him. We have another son now. Deal with it, George.
Freya Tingley is so good as Wendy Darling.
She's so good.
She is such a bright spot.
Yes.
It was like she was developed in a lab specifically to play Wendy.
Oh,
Yes.
Speaking of actors invented in a lab to play roles, Young Snow?
Bailey Madison and Jennifer Goodwin are uncannily similar.
Bailey Madison is a clone of Jennifer Goodwin. There's no other logical explanation. So the first time Hook showed up, the first time Ray and I were watching, and he started doing his sex jokes that are approved for ABC primetime, meaning they can't amount to more than I have had sex. Ray goes, oh, so he's a mega virgin. And we told this to Adam New when we were watching with him. And then every time he made a sex joke, Adam would repeat it, but do a nerd voice and push up his glasses. So when I find a woman on her back, usually it's under different circumstances. And it was like, it showed how fucking, I mean, like, and then as we learn more about this boy, he definitely is pathetic. So it's like, Ray always nails it. Ray is always right. And yeah. Now, I don't know about virgin, but he is a sad, lonely boy.
If it wasn't for the fact that Colin O'Donoghue is unfortunately very pretty and very charming,
Colin O'Donoghue, basically, like, okay, so I'm getting on my soapbox here. You have to deal with this TED Talk. Unfortunate you.
You have to deal with my Regina TED Talk later. Go on.
Then, like, listen,
us poor unfortunate souls.
We all have TED Talks about all of these characters, and unfortunately for all involved, Killian Jones is incredibly formative to who I am as a person. Do I get into Jason Todd at 16 without Killian Jones? Who's to say? The thing about Killian is, number one, we don't actually get to learn what his whole fucking deal is until season 3, so I have to, like, save all my thoughts about good form until then, and I am gnawing on the bars of my enclosure.
That is a quote from Hook, which is not a Disney property. They can't do that.
But if you accept the very basic premise of Captain Hook is a pirate, and thus a bit of an opportunist with a vengeance quest, then Killian Jones kind of maps cleanly onto those 3 things, so you can either boil any of his decisions down to, will this move the vengeance quest further? Will this keep me alive? Or is this gonna make me money?
And having watched this as an adult, I could say, if you're making a pirate in 2011, you're just gonna knock off Jack Sparrow. That's the way they did it back then.
Yeah, and the fact that he's not a complete knockoff is a miracle of God.
Although I was hoping, the second he was introduced, I was fucking hoping we would confirm that Leroy/Grumpy is also Pintel, because
Oh, that'd be so funny.
same actor.
And also, it's funny you should mention that, because the fact that he was so Captain Jack Sparrow coded led to some jokes about, no, this is not Captain Hook. This is Captain Hook and Captain Jack Sparrow's illegitimate son.
Mhm.
We're
Fun
gonna get a
fact,
lot of rum jokes down the line.
Fun fact, he's actually got more of Will in him, but anyway, that's a season 3 remark. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm not getting into season 3. Even though, let's face it, that's his best season. The same way that season 2 is Regina's best season, because there are glimmers of the character that she could be if handed with competent writers. Season 3 is Killian at his best with competent writers-ish. But anyway, season 2...
this whole show, any character you like has a will they, won't they relationship with competent writing.
Yes. And so, Killian Jones, first of all, his first episode, you see him in the background of a shot. And you don't even get his name. You just sort of look at him, and he's got immediate main character energy. You sort of look at him and you go, who the fuck is that guy? Why does he get primary...
Button up your shirt, sweetie, you'll get cold.
Why does he get primary colors? Because he gets introduced into what my corner of the fandom affectionately called the red vest of sex.
Or as my corner of the fandom would call it, the red vest of... sex.
It's a good...
You gotta stop.
It's a good costume choice, my man. It's a good costume choice.
Gender neutral, my man.
Yes, my man, gender neutral. Assume any gendered term I say is gender neutral. It has the parentheses gender neutral attached to it. And so, like, you can't handed Killian as a neurotic 12-year-old who's slowly going insane because they're 12 and undiagnosed with so many mental issues, man. So many mental issues. And I'm gonna make it my entire personality fuck all the way off. The thing about Killian is that Colin does, again, if we're talking about characters who do excellent work with the material they are given, Colin does excellent work with having to play the slippery motives of, is he being sincere or truthful? Is he just being an opportunist? Or is he just being a little shit? And solving those from scene to scene is like half the fun of trying to interpret Killian's performance. There's a great scene in the breaking Aurora out of
Breaking
the cell.
Bad.
Yeah, where when he's initially breaking her out, he is half in complete shadow, half in light, as he's explaining, why he's breaking her out. Which sort of, again, if I want to give the lighting designer some competence, which I don't know if I entirely want to, I'm willing to bet that this is just as likely to be a happy accident and a side effect of the set we're filming on as much as it was an intentional choice. He does get...
I think anyone in a department like lighting, we should give an extra amount of credit to, just because those are heavily ununionized in Canada, and that's the whole... These people are being exploited, so if they did a good job, I wouldn't if I were in that position.
Yeah, when I say I don't know if I'm giving them credit, I'm meaning I don't know if I'm giving them credit for it being intentional or a side effect of the set.
But no, any hard labor jobs are people who are heavily ununionized, and ABC is filming here to exploit them. So if any of them accidentally do good work, that's better than I would do under the circumstances.
Yeah. Anyway, so he is half shadowed and half in light for the initial breakout because he's doing a good thing, but he's being an opportunist about it, and he has her hard on him because he's trying to buy his Grace's back into Cora. Because at this point, Emma has made her opinions clear, and Cora, she can be bought. She can be bought more likely than Emma and the gang can be bought. When he turns around to mention to Aurora as she's fleeing, the offer's still on the table. I'll come with you guys if you can make it worth my while. He goes back into complete light. And he is making a sincere gesture. And so everything about Hook is this careful, precarious balance of opportunistic pirate jaded by literal centuries of vengeance and anger and violence, and the kernel of the good man that Killian Jones at his core. Again, we will learn this technically in season 3, but there are enough inklings of it that I'm comfortable saying it in season 2.
He wants to be good, life just won't let him.
Exactly. He and Regina have the same kind of basic problem.
I'll give you that, yeah.
It's just the writers kind of solved him eventually, and they never solved Regina because they thought her being villainous was hot. And that's a shame. Again, if we want to boil down Killian's season 2 problem into a scene, it's his conversation with Belle when Belle tries to break into the Jolly Roger to get Balefire's shawl back. Everything Killian says in that scene, to some extent or another, is true. He's being an ass about it, but he's correct and Belle should be running. And that is sort of the infinite problem of Killian Jones, and at least this season, is that he's right a good chunk of the time, he's just being a jackass about it.
You're not wrong, Killian, you're just an asshole.
Yes, and as a certified Luke Castellan enjoyer, this works for me. Also, another side note about Belle, Killian, Balefire, they should have gotten more scenes together. He and Belle are such a great comedy duo. There's a line in the later seasons where Emma has to assign Killian to watch over Belle because we're not hanging with Rumple that week and we were afraid that Rumple might actually kill her. And she's just like, he tried to kill me. And he's like, it was extenuating circumstances. Twice? Sorry? Like, he's funny.
I can't even remember what the second... Oh, wait. So there was the one in her cell and then the one time when he shot her.
Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. So... Killian, once he's allowed to get domesticated next season, he will improve.
Domesticated.
But he has to get domesticated first. Anyway.
Wonderful.
This pirate's a rescue.
Killian?
Emma has the right to put a leash on him and make him sit.
Listen, Emma has a patent taste in risk-taking men. It's in keeping for her. Anyway.
British accents.
Yeah, no, Neil doesn't have a British accent.
Well,
Neil
not
is,
Neil, but...
Neil is an American.
Graham!
Oh, I know, Sam, I know. And I wish I could say he's in a better place now, but I mean, if the 50 Shades thing is any indication...
The third point on my Killian soapbox is that, like, Killian Jones is, like, the 7th fish down on There's Always a Bigger Fish to Fry. Whenever you can get mad at Killian about something, there's a bigger fish to fry in Cora. Killian having problems in one other direction, there's a bigger fish to fry in Regina or Gold, whoever's being the worst in that particular moment. Killian Jones just keeps getting smacked around in the hopes of, like, figuring out what the fuck he wants, and eventually he gets enough brain damage to decide that, like, yeah, man, I'm not dying for my vengeance. I'll put it aside long enough to, like, pretend I want love again. Anyway, that's my Killian soapbox.
When River and I were discussing this character, River had all these paragraphs of thoughts, and I said, you didn't say one thing that contradicted Sad Virgin. And
No, that wasn't about Killian. That was about David being a piece of shit.
Oh,
Yes. That was about David not having a brain cell. And I'm like, he's not supposed to have a brain cell. He's
Ray and I do not hate David like a lot of the fandom does, because Californian accent plus the actor's mouth breathing, like sometimes his mouth is just hanging open, just make us like interpret the character as like Ed from Ed, Edd n Eddy. So whenever he makes bad decisions, we're like, yeah. He's the stupid one.
David is a shepherd being forced to be a prince. He has no diplomatic training. All he knows is sword fight and make sure Snow doesn't murder anybody.
Strong of arm, pure of heart, dumb of ass, he's just Ken. With the added bonus that he has never turned Barbie Land into a patriarchy.
Yeah.
But he does get a couple of good moments. Like, I really love the exchanges that he has with Jefferson, and he does good work in We Are Both, because... You know, it's good for him to acknowledge David Nolan is a piece of shit.
It was extremely refreshing. A man admitting he was wrong on this show? The devil, you say?
Yeah.
And also, there's also an element to David where, like, you know, it's like your turn to co-parent, and David is the least qualified of the co-parents. So David's just like holding him out at arm's length. I'm like, David, I forgive you for not knowing that Henry would not go to school because he just ditched, because Henry is again down for crimes. At any moment.
David doesn't
like,
know what school is. He doesn't know the difference between a weekday and a weekend.
I don't think Storybrooke knows what school is. Was Mary Margaret just teaching children to make birdhouses every single day on a loop for 28 years?
Was there any other teacher in that school?
Mary
nuns,
Margaret
I
watched
think.
the movie Matilda and said, got it, that's what a teacher does, and then did nothing else.
But the thing is so like, again, I do like David's instinct of like, yeah, if Henry is gonna want to come back to the Enchanted Forest because Henry has not expressed any evidence to the contrary and he's 11, I'm gonna teach him the things that I know how to teach him, that the other two kind of like can't at the moment because they're currently trapped in the Enchanted Forest, or can't because Emma doesn't know how to take care of a horse. Also, Storybrooke has a stable. It's never brought up again. It's just in this one season, but Storybrooke has a stable. David and Henry get to like actually try and like bond because they are the weak link in the core charming family. Also, not for nothing, I like hanging the bow and arrow up by the door and having the sword in the umbrella stand. That's a fun aesthetic. It's fun every time. It's one of my favorite things. A lot of the Neverland stuff is in truly next season, so we can't get too deep into it.
We do get our first hints. It's like, oh, this is one of those evil Peter Pans. Okay.
We're getting an evil Peter Pan, baby!
Well, Peter Pan has always been sort of morally ambiguous anyways. Like, tries to kill a bunch of kids in, like, the original book.
Well, yeah, one of the things that Peter Pan kind of represents is kind of how careless children can be, both in good and bad ways.
We don't have time to go into all the dark Peter Pans, and actually J.M. Barrie was the worst. We don't have time for that, because we still have an autopsy to do on Rumbell at the very least.
Do we have to?
Yeah,
Okay.
we have.
I once got myself fake drunk and stumbled through like 90% of their relationship on YouTube. We're doing this.
Number 1, fuck this ship.
This is the reason why I never went into shipping in this show in the first place.
To the listeners, if you find yourself drawn towards this ship, go to a therapist and describe your partner in as much detail as you can.
There are ways to more or less ethically, enjoy a ship like this, theoretically.
Well, yes.
But this show's framing is atrocious. And Belle, you should be running the fuck away in at least 8 different scenes.
I mean, when I was a dumbass 15 to 17-year-old, yeah, I was shipping it. I'm trying to remember when the straw broke the camel's back, and I think it was season 4.
Oh, I was definitely sick of them by this season, but I was also older than you and had already gotten over my Twilight phase, so...
I was 12, and I was just like, no, there's nothing here that's compelling.
Unfortunately, I was getting a lot of mileage out of that goddamn cup.
Yeah, that fucking chipped cup.
They chipped the cup, by God.
That cup and also Robert Carlyle's cry face.
Despite the age gap, I think Robert Carlyle and Emily DeRaven do have chemistry. They could do Godot together or something.
I mean, they're no Alex de Winter and Keanu Reeves, but I see the vision.
When I first started binge watching this show while high to make fun of it with Ray, at one point, to name drop, Ray and I were having my birthday dinner with Michelle Knotts, the voice of Jessie in Pokemon, and she was like, so what have you been up to? And we were like, we've been watching Once Upon a Time, and she's like, oh, I love Rumpel. And we were like,
Really?
Oh no!
Your new litmus test?
I mean, you do you, Miss Knotts. I mean, far be it from me to ship shame.
because this is an awesome opportunity to be having her buy me birthday dinner, and I didn't want to be like screaming at her, but I was also like, why?
Are you okay? Do we need to call somebody?
Yeah.
Like, yes, listen, it makes sense that this does appeal to teenagers, because do you know what else appealed to teenagers? Twilight. So I have no leg to stand on with this.
Is Rumpelstiltskin Christian Grey? Discuss.
They are different types of toxic. I will maintain they are different types of toxic.
No, it's worse than that. Rumpelstiltskin is Kylo Ren.
You're right. I don't like that you're right. I mean, at least they're not cousins.
Thanks, I hate it. How do I uninstall it? I stand by the fact that gold is a yandere.
Yes, we have established this.
We've
But
established
no,
this.
it's so frustrating too because, again, this is one of those patterns that we've discussed when it comes to Regina. It comes to a lot of the villains. It's just that this is a show that wants to pay lip service to moral ambiguity, but never really commits to it.
It wants to play lip service to both moral ambiguity and redemption. And
Yes.
it never commits to either, to the detriment of the characters that it's doing both of those things too.
Because I believe there's a version of this where Rumpelstiltskin could have been redeemed as well. But unfortunately, he keeps on choosing power and control over the woman he claims to love.
But, and like, the other thing is they never really give Belle, like, they give Belle a moment in, like, the later seasons where she gets a token, fuck this, I'm done. But they never truly give Belle enough of a fuck this, I'm done. She says in the episode where everyone almost pushes her over the town line, she's like, I never want to see either of you two ever again.
And there's no follow-up with that.
And in the next episode, they're having a lunch.
Have you considered I'm giving you a library? Look, Disney movie, library.
But consider, I hate it. Consider, it's gross. Not letting Belle establish solid boundaries, because every time Belle tries to establish boundaries, they are crossed. They are walked over or they are ignored. And it's immensely frustrating to the point where anytime those two are the centric of an episode, I'm wanting to book it for the fucking hills. Belle could have been friends with Ruby. Belle and Ruby could have been buddies, and that would have been cute as hell.
Like
Belle and Ruby could have been girlfriends.
Yeah.
Belle and Milan get to be buddies and are cool. And part of the, like, joy, like, the one thing I will say about season 3 now is that a lot of season 3 is Belle running the home team. And it's fantastic because you're like, oh, this is what this character could be without Rumpelstiltskin around. And it's so joyous that you get so caught up in the euphoria that you forget that in about 10 minutes we're gonna have to flash over to the Neverland stuff and watch Rumpelstiltskin suffer his daddy issues.
And even then, in season 3, Belle is still pining after him. That's really the worst part about all of this.
No, but that's season 3.
Listen, asking A&E to write themes in their storytelling is like asking an 8-year-old to do your taxes.
But what I'm saying is that Belle never really gets to identify with anything, because I think she was mainly thought up as a satellite love interest, and I don't really think they were expecting her to be as popular as she was. I don't think they realized that people were going to lock on to Rumbelle as much as they did.
Which is really stupid because, I'm sorry, are you not aware of how popular Beauty and the Beast is, A&E?
Also, you cast the cutest actress in existence? Hello?
Emily
DeRavin hot!
Yeah, I think the reason they got a lost cameo is because they wanted this to connect with fans. This was like first pitched as just 4 lost fans before y'all losers found it. Lovingly, affectionate.
No, it's okay.
Parental affectionate.
We are all proudly losers here. Again, the problem is she has such a beautiful heart and wants to see the good in everybody, more so than I think even Snow does.
And that's Snow's only personality trait.
And unfortunately, it keeps on getting taken advantage of, which often happens with people who just want to see the best in people and want to believe people can be good. Because you know what? Yes, people can be good, but they need to choose to be. They need to choose to be, and that is such a hard lesson to learn.
Jazz, I don't need you reading me for filth right now, okay? I know my sins.
In a world without abusers, it would be easy to be a people pleaser. It wouldn't be that bad.
No. And Sam, I'm calling myself out far more than anybody else, really. So
I felt all called out the same. I think when I called you Belle as a derogatory term, now I'm like, oh no, maybe I'm Belle.
I think we're all a little Belle, because let's face it, she's one of the most popular Disney princesses for a reason.
The only one nominated for a fucking Oscar before the Best Animated Feature category existed.
Exactly. And also it is worth noting, you know what? Disney animated Belle should probably also sue this show.
Yeah.
She would never.
She would never.
Honestly, even 2017 Belle should be suing this show.
They both had boundaries, and they stood up for those boundaries.
They only started liking the Beast when he stopped being a dick. That is the whole point.
And the very first moment of this show is a rewrite of the Snow White kiss that's really fucking good.
Exactly.
Prince Charming walks up already knowing and being in love with Snow White, and instead of just randomly kissing a corpse, he says, "May I say goodbye?" And you get the feeling that you're going to be dealing with some revisionism in Disney, but ultimately for the good. And the second we get to Beauty and the Beast, we hear a mocking line of, "Oh, I wouldn't ask you to kiss your captor. That would be ridiculous." And it's like you're making fun of Beauty and the Beast and also not understanding what made it special and compelling.
The other thing about the Beauty and the Beast starting point, and again, I mentioned this in the first episode of this whole recap season thing, is Belle leaves. When Beast refuses to change, Belle leaves. If they had left it at that, if that had been the route they'd gone, we would have all been happier.
Or have her leave him for more than one fucking episode.
Have her leave him, and maybe he fixes himself if he knows what's good for him, and then maybe we can talk.
I don't agree. I've always been on board for the various Regina redemption arcs. I'm like, you know what? I get it. Every time we get to a Rumpelstiltskin redemption arc, I'm like, him?
Yeah,
okay.
no, I'm 100% with you. I'd much rather have Regina because I just tend to be more forgiving of female characters, and I'm not sorry for that.
We support women's wrongs, but
especially female characters of color, because they don't get as much grace in the fandom.
Well, no, I mean, she is a woman of color who is a fan favorite character.
Well, yeah, but there's also a lot of hate for her, towards her that Rump I don't think gets.
Yeah, if anything, Belle gets more hate than Rumpel. Like, about a month ago, I decided when in my Facebook Reels, the official Once Upon a Time page popped up a certain scene from season 4 between Rumpel and Belle, and I'm like, finally, this was like a really cathartic moment for me. And then I just decided, you know what? Today's a great day to pick fights with everyone in the comments who's like, OMG, Belle was so mean to Rumpel. Why didn't she keep giving him chance after chance after chance after chance? No questions.
Because she doesn't exist to make Rumpel evolve. She's not supposed to.
It's so fucking funny as someone who watched this show in an echo chamber in a bubble of just me and my girlfriend and not caring or wanting to engage with the fandom and still having never done so. Because I'm
Dude, it's a trap.
I'm hold on, they gave Belle hate and they gave Regina hate? And I'm like trying to think of a single episode where I could watch Lana Parrilla being a bitch and not think, put this lady in more shit. This is amazing.
I mean, there are definitely the evil regals out there. Even I had to temper because, like, they're the kinds of ones who think that she never did anything wrong in her life. And I'm like, no, she does do a lot wrong. And that is, one, entertaining, and also, two, would make it interesting if they did do a good redemption arc for her. And they almost get it. Like, through half of this season, they almost get it. But no, they had to have her fall off the wagon and buy into Cora's bullshit.
Is this where we talk about the fact that magic is the addiction metaphor? And John Swabbins, you will pay for your crimes?
I get that you want to have that. You've had your soapbox, though, and I want to soapbox something else. I think that a big thing between the difference of Regina redemption and Rumpel redemption is that Regina has a lot more external factors contributing to why she is the way she is.
Yes.
Rumpel, nearly everything is something that he ended up doing to himself.
Thank you. Yes.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't understand the logical leap of my son is being bullied because I'm a draft dodger. I'll become Satan. Like, I feel like there should be a couple steps in the middle there.
I mean, this is the same man who's like, oh, my son is going to be fatherless because of my actions in battle. Let me mutilate myself so that I don't go into battle.
Yeah.
No, he continually makes the worst decision with almost no one influencing him. Versus, like, I honestly kind of like Regina backsliding because of Cora. Like, I think that's a realistic...
Unfortunately, yes.
If your abuser shows up and is giving you positive reinforcement or apparent positive reinforcement for the first time, you're like, wait, maybe it is going to be different, which is also part of how we keep having Belle go
Yeah.
back to Rumple.
Yeah, and listen, let me be clear. I understand why it happens. I think I understand Regina on a very fundamental level, because at the end of the day, yes, she needs some damn introspection, but on the other hand, what about anything that has ever happened to her has made her think that she should do anything, should ever be vulnerable, should ever not lash out in a desperate attempt to maintain control and to have something good in her life?
I have a question about this season.
Sure.
I said that once they start trying to redeem Regina, they start writing new Reginas. Cora being the first example. Do we like Cora as a villain?
Oh, we love Cora as a villain, honestly.
Diabolical, really.
Diabolical, but she is a horrific parent.
Oh, a horrific parent, but also, to be honest, I kind of want to peek into the timeline where she and Rumpelstiltskin were an ultimate villain couple together.
Freak for freak.
I mean, the thing is, find out later, Cora was kind of in villain mode even before she encountered Rumple.
Mm-hmm. No, she had so much
class bitterness, basically.
Yeah, no, but the class bitterness that wasn't just like, there's at a certain point you just have to not shut up and take it, but like, it seems like she doesn't even acknowledge the world as it is. She's not willing to be like, this is who I am and this is my position. And she has all this self-importance that she doesn't understand classism completely, because it's not that she believes in equality, it's that she believes in her own superiority.
Yes.
Yeah, like, she's not about to go start a revolution, she's just looking to gold dig, ha.
And that's how she ended up as queen.
I should be the person oppressing the peasants.
Exactly. And that's her whole thing. Now, no, she was kind of always very villainous, but she also did have this capacity to love. Like, there are some times when she's talking to Rumpelstiltskin, it's like, okay, no, I actually do buy that you genuinely loved each other at one point.
Freak for freak.
Exactly. And like with all things, there is a Tumblr post that perfectly exhibits this dynamic. They match each other's freak to a degree that is dangerous to the public. Shout out to Kitty Cat Ninja 321. I respect it. I like a good villain couple where they will do the atrocities but still adore each other.
It's so funny seeing Rumple see someone act completely without remorse for the first time and visibly get horny. She's like, no, you're going to teach me magic and I'm going to become a powerful wizard. And he's like, oh
I'm down with that.
Hot. Did it get a little hot in here? Or like, I'm sweating. Oh my goodness.
I mean, let's listen, for all of my complicated issues of her as a person. Rose McGowan, A+ casting.
Yes.
Oh yeah, no, my first viewing did not recognize that was a separate actress.
Why is she the only person who gets a younger actress for their flashbacks?
Because we do not have the money to de-age Barbara Hershey. And Barbara Hershey is old enough that we can't be like, oh yeah, we put bangs on her and now she's 20 years younger.
Yeah, and it is a little weird that Regina is the same age as Snow White and we just have to be cool with it. Yeah. But and there's no explanation for why. It's just like, she aged wonderfully. I think
monthly juice cleanse.
I think Lana Parrilla is very good at playing older. I think she is convincing us that she is like 40 when she is like 28 in the first. I like Barbara Hershey.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this without judgment. She clearly.
I feel bad for her defantification. She doesn't, the pantsuit and like the straightened like long hair. I'm like, no, you defantified my girl.
I am saying this completely without judgment. Barbara Hershey has clearly had a lot of work done, has had facial surgery a few times. And so getting someone to play a younger version of her that has had almost the exact same surgeries, it doesn't necessarily make sense. Like, we assume a woman looks like that because she's old and is afraid of aging, and it's stranger for a young woman to look like that. Again, without judgment. But I like Rose McGowan as an actress. She's in one of our favorite movies.
Neil?
Still not sure he didn't commit statutory, unfortunately.
Definitely committed statutory. Like,
okay, no, hang on. So I actually did the math on this once, because when I was doing my last rewatch of My Own Free Will, I went insane about it.
What'd you do that for?
Because I'm insane. Next question. Also, I was suffering in college and I had to do something to keep my loss of sanity a reason. So, according to the wiki, after his time in Neverland, he appeared in our world in 1992, assuming that Neverland held his aging hostage the same way it does for everyone else who encounters Neverland, and assuming he left the darlings at 10 or 12, maybe. Let's give it conservatively. He's, like, if I'm being kind to the numbers, he's 18, 19. If I'm being less kind to the numbers, he's 19, 20. They really should have gotten a younger actor, but we need the facial recognition as the guy from the first scene of the first episode to establish who the fuck he is, and so we get the reveal in actual Manhattan of who the fuck he is. I understand from a visual storytelling perspective why we did not recast Michael Raymond James. However, Michael Raymond James should have been re-fucking casted, because that man does not look 20 at all.
So he was 20. Was she 18 when they met?
So Emma said that she was 18 when she had a kid.
Yes.
Emma's birthday is in October and Henry's is in August.
That does not bode well.
Emma was probably like just past 18 when Henry was conceived.
Now,
Oh boy.
yes, and I will say he's still my favorite character, and the reason I'm going to say that he's the audience, he did nothing wrong, is because we're assuming these writers could do math.
True, we are talking about the people who decided Hamilton exists 2 years earlier just to make a funny joke.
These famously stupid writers, you are assuming they can do math.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fair.
and so that's why I am, again, willing to... They say that, like, yeah, Neil is Henry's dad. I'm like, sure. I'm not gonna bring up the specter of statutory rape on that front, because, again...
No, because...
Neil's
yeah.
and Killian's agings are both joint fucked in different ways, because they both spent extended periods of time in Neverland, and
Yeah.
Wendy mentions in Second Star to the Right that timing in Neverland is weirder than it is here, because she feels like she spent multiple days in Neverland, even though it's only been one night in the real world. Neverland is a pocket dimension, makes no fucking sense.
The fucking fake out of the Mad Hatter being like, we're off to see the wizard, and then it's Frankenstein. I'm like, why'd you do that? That wasn't clever.
You know, a lot of people did take that and kind of looked at like that whole crew. It's just like, okay, it's not Wizard of Oz coded.
Who did Jefferson leave behind? Who did Jefferson leave behind?
I mean, in that same episode, he also has that crystal ball thing that's supposed to be like the thing from the 39 movie where Auntie M showed up briefly, and the slippers that he was refusing, he was like, yeah, they're gone to another world, and I need them to get to that other world. Those were the silver shoes.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Because they do end up being silver shoes because we can't use ruby slippers.
No, but then we're like setting all this up. We know about the crystal ball, we know about the slippers, then he's like, we're off to see the wizard, and then Frankenstein's there, and it's just like,
I prefer doctor.
that's not a clever fake out. I don't know, you're just confusing me for no reason.
I do get that, especially with how often they conflate characters.
Well, this is a society that has no concept of science.
Exactly.
And also, this is like the one show that has both magic and science that doesn't really dig into the question of what is the divide between magic and science. It doesn't even throw a token like, you know, the Marvel standard of like magic is just science we don't understand yet sort of thing.
And in fairness, it's because they're from completely different worlds, so you can get away with that sort of thing.
And also the magic is incredibly sympathetic. It is a sympathetic magic system. It is powered entirely on emotion.
Yes.
Let me punch that up real quick. He is the Wizard of Oz. Done. Dr. Frankenstein could be the Wizard of Oz.
Why not?
Unfortunately,
No,
we
have the wizard later, and he's a monkey, and Emma dates him.
What?
But they didn't write that. They didn't write that yet. So
That's season
instead of
3.
doing this fake out, you could just say Dr. Frankenstein is hanging out in Oz because it's a place where people can live without a heart.
Why
Done.
not, honestly? Why not? I actually like
It's so
that.
weird to do that fake out when just giving them what they want and also making it Victor Frankenstein
I
would have
mean,
been more
it is
clever.
just following Arthur Clarke's law that any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
That's,
Well,
I mean, that is the
He's put-
wizard! You are describing the wizard's character in Oz.
But then we would have to negotiate the actor's schedule in the season 3, and that actor's schedule was already fucked. So having him pull double duty as the Wizard of Oz, if they'd had the pin note of thinking of going to Oz for season 3, they're like, okay, we can't actually use that actor the way we want to.
They also weren't even bothering to do Mary Shelley's Frankenstein properly, so why does it even fucking matter?
No, we don't know what they had planned for season 3 other than clearly Neverland. And They made a whole Wonderland show without the Queen of Hearts or the Mad Hatter. So do you think they care?
They mentioned the Mad Hatter, and Cora did show up in Once Upon a Time in Wonderland. She showed up for like one episode to mentor the Red Queen.
That's correct.
Yes.
Do not cite the deep magic to me.
No, you're right. She does cameo. I don't think that's the same thing, though, because clearly...
Anyway, regarding the Frankenstein thing, you're absolutely right. This barely has anything to do with the novel. This is purely...
For one, he's a doctor!
This is the James Whale film. And you know what? Fine. Like, the recreations of the vibes of the Universal Monster aesthetic is actually pretty great.
Mel Brooks did it better.
What? Mel Brooks doing better than an ABC soap opera? The devil, you say, Charlie? Unpopular opinion, it does not actually bother me that they included Frankenstein into this nonsense, because you know what? They already introduced werewolves.
Oh yeah, all I'm saying is Frankenstein being the scientist who landed in the world of magic fits perfectly with everything they've written, and the episode up until that point, he should have just been Oz. I don't care what it means for the rest of the show. I don't care about the rest of the show. It would have made the episode better.
It would have been a better story. I have to agree with you, Charlie. Most of the time, fan reactions to this are better stories. We know this. We've been knew this.
It's weird to watch a show written entirely by people who are worse at writing than you.
Listen, I am not the television viewer and or writer that I am if I did not ingest this show at 12 and try to make it better in my head with the help of all of my friends.
No, that's true. My dad has an acting degree. He studied film and acting, and his film professor always said, you will learn more by watching bad movies than watching good movies.
100%. Like, even our friend Ellie even said, no matter how she actually feels about a piece of media, every new piece of media she watches makes her a better creator and critic.
The thing about Emma and Neil is that I believe that Emma is not playing the jealous ex.
No,
I believe her being right and everyone thinking she's playing the jealous ex is my villain origin story.
It's kind of insulting, especially from Snow and Charming.
I will forgive Henry doing the get the parents back together. He's 11. Anytime I'm mad at Henry, I'm not actually mad at Henry. I'm mad at the writers for knowing how an 11-year-old would act. Don't forgive the Charmings for doing the whole, like, Emma's being a jealous ex when she has genuine reason to be suspicious of Tamara.
No, that was fucked up.
Because no one's properly vetted this woman, and, like, you know, Neil is just kind of letting her have free reign, which, whatever. But having two strangers in a town made of magic is kind of a concerning thing.
I really think it really was just Snow and Charming not really grasping, hey, this is not normal to the majority of this world, guys.
They're still relative strangers to this. Everything they know about, like, the real world is, like, isolated in that bubble of Storybrooke. They have no idea how the rest of the world works.
Mm-hmm. I will say the one thing that annoys me about this season...
Oh, the one thing!
...is that in the first half of the season where we're basically having to follow the three separate timelines drives me bug fucking insane. I am so happy when we get everyone into one cohesive timeline in one cohesive place. This season bounces around to a lot of locations a lot, and I think the show is at its best when we are caring about maybe two and a half locations because the fairy tale land is or the flashbacks are its own separate thing.
I knew I was on the 5s. I only got the chance because my sleep's been really off to rewatch episode 5, and the rest I was having to quickly just scroll through Wikipedia and try to find like one cohesive story thread, and I was just like, oh, they don't have one.
No. And that's part of why I kind of wish that the Greg and Tamara stuff wasn't there, even though I recognize that it does spin off important plot points, but those important plot points could have technically been done in some other way, in a more engaging way. I don't find these characters interesting, and that feels like a crime.
I fundamentally disagree with the existence of important plot points at Once Upon a Time. I've fallen asleep for 4 episodes. We skipped the whole Zelina arc because we were so bored. Get to the Frozen bullshit.
As God intended, but season 2.
Oh God! I've looked up about Zelina. I'm like, the less I see her, the better.
Yeah, season 2 is the only season that is structured this way because season 1 is one cohesive season where you kind of get the basic gist from episode to episode. It's very structured. Season 2 is kind of the chaos season of like our premise has suddenly been upended. How do we shift this to make it work? How do we science out what we do with these characters? How have these characters grown and changed from the reveal that they are no longer cursed, and how do we fix all of our magic, the leaks in the boat as they pop up about the magic now being in this realm. And then from season 3 onward, we enter a 3A, 3B structure where like there are a couple of episodes in the middle that tie the two halves of the season together but are otherwise a mess. But I think they did that because this season was hell on earth to manage.
Oh yeah. And the story structure, the season 1 episodes, is the story structure of Lost. Write what you know. They wrote themselves into a corner that when the show got renewed, they can no longer rely on the way Lost stories are told. And so they are just completely out of their element. Not that they have an element as writers to speak of, but they had written a show that was like, how do flashbacks tie into the present every episode before?
We haven't even really talked much about Red's storyline.
Red!
Well, Red kind of falls off after she remasters her wolfiness.
Well, yeah.
They
Ruby.
stopped
Ruby,
having
okay.
shit for Megan Ori to do, and so she was like, can I go do another show? And they're like, okay, fine.
Yes, I know, but also not a hot take at all. Better Beauty and the Beast story. I said it.
I love Ruby.
Ruby even gives Belle the key to the town library because Belle wanted a job.
And Ruby's so sweet to her, and Bella's just like, no, I don't want to let you get killed. Like, people have done parallel gift sets of this episode with the Disney Beauty and the Beast, and rightfully so. This would have been the better one if A&E weren't cowards.
And it wasn't at 2012.
They have too many fucking characters to the point
Well, yes.
where, like, if Sydney Glass disappears, if Ruby disappears, they could still write stories. And it's just like, if you can just stop writing one of your characters completely, if Mad Hatter disappears, if you could just stop writing one of your characters completely and it doesn't affect your show at all, thin out the herd a little.
There's a reason I joke that, like, from this, like, cast, by the end of season 3, I can count the number on, like, 1.5 hands about who actually fucking matters.
Yeah, and it is really a bummer.
I almost wonder if that's why they had the first half of season 3 not just completely not take place in Storybrooke or the Enchanted Forest, just to be like, okay, who of these people do we want to continue stories with? Let's stop making these half contracts. Please maybe show up again on the show, actor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a problem.
It's such a messy fucking show, and it is, I love it.
But the side effect of thinning out the herd is that, again, we run into the conundrum. No one's allowed to have friends.
Mm-hmm.
No one's allowed to have friends. Sure, writing out Ruby, like, you know, allows Megan Ori to go do other things, but Ruby is also, within the context of the show, Snow's best friend. Snow should be allowed to, like, go off on a, you know, side quest with her and Ruby and, like, let her talk out some things with someone other than her daughter and her husband.
There was there were no more girls' night after season 1.
Emma, in losing Mary Margaret and gaining her as a mother, doesn't have any friends. And, like,
Nope.
her and Belle never get to hang out, which I think could be fun.
That would be so fun.
Or, you know, there are token notions that Henry has friends. You know, him and baby version of Pinocchio are seemingly getting along, but we don't get to see it.
Yeah.
And this is the biggest problem I think I have with this show is because they built this interconnected web of friends and allies. Leroy and Belle are buddies, and they never get to hang out. Leroy and Snow are buddies, and they never get to really hang out outside of
Leroy
Leroy's
never
job of being the town crier.
And Leroy never gets his spinoff.
And we never see Nova again, which is criminal.
We
So
couldn't afford Amy Acker.
Which is
And
fair.
Blue sucks.
Yes, she does.
You were talking about how you would rewrite this show. You have a whole girls' night character in Mulan. Mulan's job is to show up and help women.
Yeah.
If I were doing this, if I already had that character, I'd be like, okay, she's one of the main 5 characters. Whenever a woman is having a problem, that's why we have Mulan here. But
there's a reason most Sleeping Warrior AUs are like, yeah, why do they never get to be in Storybrooke? It would make sense if they had been in Storybrooke. That would have been interesting. But anyway, but also I actually kind of love the werewolf cult thing going on in the Enchanted Forest with Ruby's whole deal, where I like the idea that this is how she learns. There is something in between me as a person and me as a wolf. And I like that she even says, Snow, you're one of the only people who saw me for both.
I've seen every episode of season 2, and I'm like, there's a werewolf cult? So that's about where I am with this show.
Yeah,
Ruby,
no, it's run by her mom.
Ruby with peace and love.
Yeah, and Anita is like turning out how she did, like going all feral and overcorrected. It probably led to like Granny like overcorrecting and like the slut shaming.
Yeah, if my child had turned out to start a werewolf cult, I'd be like, okay, we got to do literally anything else with my grandkid.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it sort of felt like the Hansel and Gretel episode where, like, you know, in retrospect, nothing from this is going to matter or ever come up again. So I was like, yeah, it's a good little one-off.
Oh yeah, it's a nice little episode.
I also hate the King George subplot. For what little it appears, it's such fucking bullshit that I...
Fuck you, King George.
He was supposed to come back in the Tiny episode and be like, I can give you information on what your brother did to piss off the giant, and David's like, no, fuck you.
The actor does a great job at making me hate him.
I also do love that Charming's the one who reminds Ruby, it's like, hey, you know who you are. We know who you are.
They're
I think that was
bros.
sweet. Ruby's friendship with the Charmings will never not be sweet, and it is a bummer that this is where it basically ends.
Yeah, it's so good, and I'm so mad it never comes up again.
And speaking of friendships that don't get addressed properly, you brought up how little Pinocchio and Henry seem to be getting along. It's like if you are going to de-age your Pinocchio back into being a kid, which I get it, because August really does suck. This is really the season where you're just like, oh, you just fundamentally suck as a person.
Shout out to Ian Bailey.
This is also after the line where Neil basically looks at the camera and says that would be an insane thing to do to a person to make them a child again. The show has already acknowledged that is an absurd plot point and then does it unironically.
Yeah,
but they did give him magic amnesia, so he doesn't have to have the trauma of going through puberty twice.
Yeah, we're giving him tabula rasa again.
Just because he doesn't notice how horrifying this is doesn't mean I have amnesia.
It is existentially terrifying.
Also that wood animated face, terrifying.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, I was wondering why you guys didn't mention that when you were talking about that arc. It's
terrifying.
If you are aware of what your special effects budget is, maybe just don't write Pinocchio turning back into wood. Maybe just understand what your SFX team that is heavily ununionized is turning into you. And maybe just come up with a different way to do that. Maybe have sticks sticking out of his sleeves, something practical.
I feel like they looked at how terrifying it was. It's just like, yes.
But it's like, it's not tracking with his movement properly. No. He looks like he's in Ed, Edd n Eddy, where like his outline is squiggly.
No, this is listen, the CGI has always been extremely cheesy on this show.
Yeah, the ogres and the flying, which is just, I think, the footage of Agrabah from PhilharMagic, but with London, Victorian London slapped on it.
I hate to break it to you, there is a Peter Pan sequence in there, so...
There is, yes, I forgot. Season 1 does you, dear Disney viewer of 2011, know how this story goes, let's pick it up after Happily Ever After. This season, for what few new stories we get, does the same thing of, you, dear viewer, know how Aurora's story goes, let's pick it up after Happily Ever After.
Pinocchio was a pretty new book when that movie came out. It was like 30, 40 years old.
Yeah.
So, Disney probably popularized that story outside of Italy.
Yeah.
So, lumping that in with Brothers Grimm, with Hans Christian Andersen, is Disney bullshit, and I saw that immediately.
Yeah, no, that's super fair. I was mainly saying that they were at least kind of trying to pay lip service to it, that it wasn't just that. Because, while yes, Disney did do a Red Riding Hood cartoon, that is not what people know Red Riding Hood the most from. And they have yet to do a Rumpelstiltskin adaptation.
I know of only one show that's a complete celebration of the public domain, and it's an each retelling, baby!
Aww. Thank you. That was actually really sweet.
So, occasionally this show has an instance where characters start asking the right questions and nobody wants to answer them because A, the writers haven't figured it out, and B, there's another plane blowing up just off camera left that we have to go solve first. So,
occasionally his name is Neil. That's how he talks.
But when Henry gets told that Whale is Frankenstein, he's like, oh, so that's who he is. Wait a minute, he's not in the book. And he pulls the book over and Jennifer Morris is just like, I've been awake all fucking night. We can't be doing this. And he's like, that means that there are people here from lands that are not just the Enchanted Forest. And the way that Emma's head just immediately hits the counter of oh dear Christ, I do not want to be thinking about this right now, is the funniest fucking thing.
A true representation of a good chunk of the audience, let's be so for fucking real.
Also, I'm taking credit, Kurt Flynn being the name of Owen's dad. I am not going to take that as a Tron reference. Eat my shorts.
No.
I'm not gonna eat your shorts. Why would I do that?
They probably taste terrible.
Yeah, come on. A&E wrote the Tron sequel.
Oh, did they?
Oh,
of
a
that
bitch.
doesn't make sense then.
I'm gonna go have a stroke anyway.
Yeah,
Anyway,
that's probably beyond ABC why Disney trusted them with the show.
Jack and the Beanstalk. Sure, making her a woman is fine. Killing her off and making her a villain is fucking wild.
Not even a good villain, just a...
No.
Oh, look at this slutty McSlut getting what she deserves.
It just feels like somebody who was writing that episode was just thinking about some cheerleader that bullied them. That's really what it feels like. It feels like they were just unleashing their issues with their own Regina George, basically.
Listen, I don't dislike Tiny. I will never dislike nothing bad about the media that actor has been in is his fault. He is fantastic in everything.
He's precious. We love him.
That being said, the mid-season replacement for Once Upon a Time, Gallivant did Dwarf Giants better.
You're so right.
Gallivant kind of existed to poke holes in Once Upon a Time. No, I've had this magical artifact with me the entire time. It's like, I think I would remember that.
I miss Gallivant daily!
Gallivant was greenlit because Once Upon a Time was temporarily not airing on that time slot.
Yeah, the same way Agent Carter was filling the slot for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
I miss Gallivant daily.
Me too.
I'm working on a podcast. You should come on.
Yeah.
But it was the same time slot, and they shot in actual castles instead of very small sound stages they were trying to convince us were castles.
I know. Listen, I've said it before, this show kind of represented the end of an era where you can kind of get away with that kind of cheesiness in genre television shows.
Imagine this show with a budget.
Riverdale.
Incorrect.
No!
Anyway, like Jorge Garcia is great as Anton. I'm kind of bored with the whole backstory they gave him, even though he plays it very well. And of course, we all want to give Anton a big old hug. And I like that he was able to kind of find camaraderie amongst the dwarves and growing the magic beans again. And, you know, as somebody who has often felt like she was being teased by her family, even though I know deep down they genuinely love me, I do unfortunately relate to that a lot.
I like the actor playing his dad, just that it's the most generic way for a giant to look and talk. Like the long hair, the goatee, speaking in this false baritone. It's like, cool, yep, that's a giant. I get it.
I think at some point during the series, they just built like little spinner wheels, and anytime they needed an episode plot, they would just spin a couple of wheels and play it like Mad Libs.
At this point, it really wouldn't surprise me.
What does hell look like in this world? Granny's Diner, a set we already have.
Man. Anyway, okay, I think we got through all the stories.
Do you want to get on a Regina soapbox?
Yep.
I mean, I kind of already have, but River and I spent a lot of time debating on our respective villainous characters in this season. Their favorite is Killian. Mine is still Regina. But what you need to understand is that unlike a lot of evil regals, as I've mentioned before, I recognize that Regina has committed atrocity after atrocity and keeps on self-sabotaging, and it makes you want to shake her. But then there are the moments where you see that she is actively trying to do better. And when you look at what she has gone through, like Sam said, she had so many compounding factors to lead to her villainy. It's like she had an abusive mother and neglectful father. She was essentially a child bride and probably dealt with some marital rape. She lost the love of her life. Nothing has ever gone right for her without her hurting somebody. And of course, even that would always end up biting her in the ass eventually. It is so hard for her to get anybody to even try. And not to say anyone is obligated to forgive her. But at the end of the day, she is basically alone in this. Except for maybe her son, who does still love her, who is 11, mind you, who turns 11 in this season. And yes, technically she has Archie, who, isn't actually a therapist. He is a conscience, but he's not a therapist.
He's a conscience.
May I remind you that you got your PhD from a curse?
His conscience role in the Enchanted Kingdom, where they send him up to before the execution, I'm like, that makes him a priest in like modern connotations, which is close enough to being a therapist in fairy tale land, I guess.
And again, I recognize the profound loneliness in Regina Mills. Like, she has basically been dealing with every conflict on her own or with people who are actively out to corrupt her.
We blame a lot of this on Cora, Rumpel, and who was it the second one I said again?
The writers.
Not the writers.
The real villains of Once Upon a Time.
Yes.
Honestly, we can also kind of blame it on Snow's dad
Yes,
and also
yes,
on Regina's dad, because Regina's dad enabled all of this.
It's super complicit.
Yes.
Yeah, Henry Sr. is super complicit in all of this. And I am fascinated to know how the fuck that happened, because he's the only one who's of royal blood. It is truly impressive how much Cora walks all over this man.
Well, she also has magic, so she can like
True.
I have a question. How many kings and queens are one kingdom supposed to have? I'm asking for a friend.
I mean, I think these are supposed to be multiple kingdoms,
Multiple
but
kingdoms.
yeah,
you have not. You have still not seen season 4. This is confirmed as one kingdom.
Oh, that's insane.
So are they in charge of provinces then?
City-states?
Don't think about it.
They didn't. They didn't think about it. Why should we?
And exactly, when it comes to a whole lot of what Regina's done that was never addressed by the show, yeah, I don't acknowledge from a fan standpoint, because if the writers aren't going to, why the fuck should I? As a reviewer, I'll acknowledge it. And yes, Regina's done some fucked up shit to a lot of people. And I wish the show would let her stop doing that.
My issue with Regina is, again, season 2 is her best season because they let her start trying. You know, she's trying to work on her limitation of using magic. She tells, like, the scene where she tells Henry that I want you to be here because you want to be here, not because I forced you. The sun shined through the clouds and I went, oh God, this is what it could be. This is so much hope. And those moments sometimes infuriate me so much more because I know never go through that. And that's the thing that bites me. At the end of the day about Regina, that is truly the thing that grinds my gears into kind of a quiet dislike of her. Is not even her. It's just the writers refusing to do anything with her that wasn't sexy evil lady. You know?
Yeah, but that's not really her fault, and I've given up blaming the character's actions on bad writing, especially for female characters of color, for Lent.
Why I like Regina is that when Lana Parrilla says words in this script, I believe she's a person who wants to say these things.
And with that all in mind, as I said last episode, we are actually going to be saving our Why Does Blah 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 Endure for our final episode of Once Upon a Time, which will be, of course, season 7. Why does Once Upon a Time endure? Every guest is going to be invited to tell me why they think it endures for a really, really big finale when we finally hit season 7. But with that said, final thoughts?
The season's a mess. The season's way more of a mess than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Listener, I did lose my grip on sanity as I binged them yesterday in Frilly Gel Pen, but God bless it for giving me Killian Jones.
I get why they went to the half seasons after this.
Yeah.
For better and for worse.
Yeah.
But at the same time, this did kind of remind me of why I liked this show in the first place. And why I'm so sad I'm not that person anymore.
No, I getcha.
So much potential, but they never really went anywhere good with it.
I have, on every podcast I've been on talking about this show, recommended it as something to watch while high. But when you finish season 1, if you start zoning out, skip to season 4. That's season 1 and season 4 are very fun to watch while high. Season 2, sometimes. Season 3, no.
Season 3 has plot. It's bad for being high.
Yeah, no, season 3 we thought was really fucking boring because it took itself seriously, and our thing is where we refused to, and we couldn't meet it on the same level there.
That's so valid.
Which is why I genuinely kind of think season 3 is its best. Or at least the first half of season 3 is its best.
Yeah, I thought first half of season 3 is the worst. That's so funny. Earlier, I had stated that the fairy tale characters coming together was already perfected by Stephen Sondheim. But also, the best story about a convoluted family tree was perfected in 1947 in a song most of you have heard a cover of. So I have rewritten the lyrics to this song to kind of help the layman, the people who listen to this podcast but don't watch Once Upon a Time, understand what the fuck is going on in those Thanksgivings. Ladies and gentlemen, I bring you I'm My Own Evil Stepmother, a parody of I'm My Own Grandpa. Once upon a time, once upon a time, a Disney princess soap, but not done as a joke. Once upon a time, Snow White once had my boyfriend killed, which made me feel quite bad. I could just move on past this if I didn't wed her dad. Someday my stepkid's prince will come, but mine was in a hearse. So my mom's ex-boyfriend Rumpelstiltskin taught me of a curse. No more happy endings, the town's clock is now stuck. But my baby wants a ticking, and ain't that just my luck? Cause just to spite my mother, I've rid fruit from my loins. Though what I may now lack in eggs, I can make up in coins. Adoption paper now is ready, Henry is my son. But he wants to know his bio mother, so he goes on the run. And to complicate the matter, and this can't get much odder, the mom my son brings into town is Emma, Snow White's daughter. Cause if I married Snow White's father, I must be her stepmother. And adopting someone else makes that person her stepbrother. Snow is now her grandson's sister, and it makes me blue. Cause although Henry's my greatest child, he's my great-grandchild too. Once upon a time, once upon a time, a Disney princess soap, but not done as a joke. Once upon a time, my mom's ex-boyfriend Rumpel soon goes on the run as well to find his long-lost son who fell down a magic well. They arrive in New York City, and this can drive you batty. Emma knows Rumpel's son as Neil, her baby daddy. So my son's paternal grandpa once did it with my ma, but he has a dating history that could cause more hoopla. Cause Rumpel's first wife left him for a pirate with one hand, and here comes the Jolly Roger, Hook is docking in our land. Well, not quite docking, he assures me he's very, very straight. And as if just to prove this point, Emma Swan's his first mate. My son's other mother and my mom's ex's ex's ex are living up the pirate's life and having lots of scenes. I'm invited to their wedding and I have conflicting hearts. Does this count as incest? Someone please make a flowchart. Plus, who sits in which aisle? Am I on beauty's side or beasts? Be grateful Disney princesses don't have Thanksgiving feasts. Once upon a time, once upon a time, a Disney princess soap, but not done as a joke. Once upon a time, once upon a time, once upon a time, a Disney princess soap, but not done as a joke. Once upon a time. I saw there were a few lyrics in there where Jazz was going, hell yeah, yes.
Who has stuff to plug?
I am the host of 6 Degrees of Star Wars, the podcast where we explore all the ways George Lucas's flagship franchise surrounds us, binds us, and penetrates us in the landscape of cinema. And this absolutely will show up probably as individual episodes because I want to maintain an illusion of sanity. But in the meantime, check out our backlog and visit my socials at Demisem.
You can find me on Blue Sky at Dreams Rebel. You can find me on my own website at blog.filmland.online. I am the host of the podcast The Straights Aren't All Right, a podcast where I gather a bunch of queers together, make them watch straight rom-coms, and try to answer the question, are the straights like okay? And the answer is no. No, they're not okay. They're not okay here. Don't even
Definitely
ask.
not.
They're not okay. None of these straights are okay in any capacity.
You don't need to listen to the podcast if you already know the answer. But sure, you should listen to the podcast.
You should listen to the podcast. It's very silly. Why they're not okay is the interesting part.
You can find me on the online news on Tumblr. I make all the graphics for both Inichi Retelling and our sibling podcast, 6 Degrees of Star Wars. If you like my work and want to commission me, come hit me up.
I have a Discord server that is just an update server for whatever work I'm doing in the future, what I've done in the past doesn't matter. I have been working very hard for over a year on a story that could be described as Sherlock Holmes Goes to Treasure Island, if you do want a better version of Once Upon a Time. But also, it's its own fucking sapphic thing. Deals with the aesthetics of these stories while also making them our own and not relying on existing characters we don't know what to do with. So please keep a lookout for that in the future.
And for this week's Heroes Call to Action, I am highlighting the GoFundMe of the Kumar family. They have recently lost the father of 3 young kids, 2 with special needs. He unfortunately passed away quite suddenly without any warning. He leaves behind his devoted wife and 3 young children, 6, 9, and 17, 2 of whom have special needs and require ongoing medical and emotional support. And they could really use the funds to provide for their family now that Ramesh is gone. You can find the link in the description. And as always, you can find me at Faye Riviera on all the socials, and you can follow this show on Twitter, Tumblr, and Blue Sky. If you'd like to help us reach the next chapter of our story, please leave a comment or a rating on the podcatcher of your choice, or if you'd like to help us monetarily, please click the support the show link below, or join our Patreon and Ko-Fi for extra bonuses for being such a great fan of this podcast. And wow, that is 100 episodes in the can. That is insane to me. And we are not done with insanity yet, because next up, at long last, we are making it out of Hadestown. Next week is Hadestown Act 2. We hope you will not miss our belated celebration of autumn coming. And remember, stories gain power in each retelling.